Well, now I can't get a strong breath. Do that again. Woohoo. There goes the Daverhood. Good morning, everybody. 10 seconds on that one. I'm just trying. I don't know why I bother with never. I hope I'm never going to do that underwater breathing where you have to stay alive for 3.5 minutes and you know, dive for buried treasure. But we have treasures aplenty on this 778th episode of the Dave's Gone By Facebookio, Podcastio, Programmio of the stream with yours truly, Dave Lefkowitz, my darling, wonderful, and adorable cowlick that I have to kind of just sort of pop down there, and my wonderful wife, Joyce. Say hello, Joyce. Hello, Joyce. Hello, Joyce. And we are here live on our very, very last episode of 2020. It's December 26th. Really? Are you sorry to see 2020 go? I mean, I don't think anybody's sorry to see 2020 go. And I realized that of all the things that I have done, including printing out all the information for this week, that, my darling, yeah. I have neglected to pick up the print material from the printer. I am live on Facebook, though. Make sure that I'm on the correct. Well, anyway, I'm going to wing it for a little bit until I can get my stuff. But here's, I mean, it's. Let me tell you what's going to be on this episode of the program. First of all, it's our 778th show. Was it?
It's downstairs.
It should be at the printer, yeah. I don't think I pulled it from the printer, so it was sitting there when I was making breakfast. Okay. First of all, we have a very special guest, a return guest to the Daverhood. And he's someone who was on, I can't believe it was this long ago. But it was back in, I think, 2007 that our musical friend, kind of a multi-instrumentalist, an arranger, a songwriter as well, and a fine, fine singer. His voice is so good that he was in a group that didn't use any instruments at all.
I risked my life for you.
Thank you. Joyce says she risked her life for me because going downstairs where people are not necessarily terribly good about social distancing is rather a scary departure for her. But
is Sean Altman an actor or singer?
Sean Altman is mainly, essentially, he's a singer-songwriter. Sean Altman, S-E-A-N, Altman, he was in a group that you've all heard of, and if you have children, which I don't, you would have seen him in a band called Rockapella.
Oh, wow.
Which were...
David, that was a lot of cardio. I feel like the Star Trek people on that planet.
But Rockapella, they an a cappella group. This was before it became suddenly this new resurgence of interest in that form, especially among Orthodox Jews for some reason. I guess they can do it. They can rehearse on Shabbos because you know the instruments. That's why they're so popular with groups like 613 and stuff. But there was some kind of a groundswell when Rockapella was first starting out, especially because they were the house band of non-acapella for Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego,
Wow.
A song that our guest co-wrote.
David, did you ask him, Sean, if he ever found Carmen Sandiego?
You know, that's a very fair question. You know, is Carmen Sandiego, or she'd probably be in her 50s now, not getting around as well as she was. Yeah. Does Carmen Sandiego have COVID? Is she in a hospital on a ventilator at this moment? Let's find her. Remember, Carmen Sandiego was the bad guy. I never watched it.
Was a girl or a boy?
Girl, but she was like a criminal mastermind. I never knew that. I never watched the show. But apparently, she would send all these low-level thieves around. You know, she was kind of like in the Bond films, these big, important mafiosi types, cruel and evil, and they would get these dumb henchmen to do their bidding. So she would hire thieves to do stuff, and then she'd escape, and you have to go and try and find her. And then somehow every episode she'd get away, and you know, you have to find her again. I don't know. I guess she went to Puerto Vallarta for a getaway. So anyway, if you watched for years, Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, you saw Sean Altman on TV every day. He has since created a whole lot of music. He's got a bunch of albums out, including his most recent, which is called Salt, from about a year or so ago. And then also, and one of the reasons that we had him on the program back in 2007 is that he created this whole character slash genre of music called Jewmungus, which are very, very funny, sometimes quite blasphemous songs based on Jewish life and learnings and principles. Very, very funny man, very clever and bright fellow. Well, Sean is still making music. He's still doing all sorts of stuff. It's hard for him to do concerts and be in bands and be in person now, as it is for every musician alive. But Sean will be here, and he will be talking to Rabbi Sol Solomon on Dave's Gone By. And after that, we're hoping he will stay and play our yesterday trivia quiz against David Sheward. David Sheward, a theater critic, former head of the drama desk. And
one thing we didn't talk about that's new this week is we're doing that HD Broadway.
Oh, yeah, we can definitely, actually, I'm going to make a note of that. So, but yeah, so Sean Altman in the house, David Sheward in the house. Leslie Blake made her excuses. She's 50-50 every week whether Leslie Blake is actually going to show up and be on the program. We'd love to have her, but be nice if you a little more consistent. Yeah, she's practicing for the other trivia Jeopardy show that she's on. But we do have David Sheward, and we do have Rabbi Sol, and we do have Sean Altman. We also have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. This is because Joyce and I lived in Colorado for several years. And while I was there for no particular reason, I took it into my head. I love why that noise at that moment. That was fantastic. Why?
Because you were going to talk about some rural rustic town in Colorado.
Oh, yeah. Well, basically, yeah, we're going to, I write a very short poem, a limerick, about all these different places and towns and municipalities in Colorado. We've been doing it for more than 2 or 3 years now, one a week on the air. And this week, oh boy, this week we go to Thatcher, Colorado. Thatcher, Colorado, for our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. And speaking of Colorado, Joyce and I also take some minutes out to go looking through the newspaper in Colorado. This is not a prop, this is real. This is the Greely Tribune. That was the town we used to live in, Greeley, Colorado, where this newspaper, which is a legitimate, regular daily newspaper, has 2 columns in it, one that they run once a week. Both of them are intentionally funny, and they're both taken from actual things. One of them is from Cop Log, which are the most ridiculous phone calls that come into the police dispatch of Weld County. So people see something weird happening in their neighborhood, they immediately call the cops, whether it's right to call the cops or not. So that's Cop Log, and we mix that up with another column done by our friend Mike Peters in the Greely Tribune, and that one is called 100 Years Ago. And it's all about Mike going through the papers in 19...
Today's your Aunt Esther's birthday.
Oh, yay. Remind me of that in a moment or two. But yeah, 100 years ago in Colorado, literally in the papers back in 1920. This is the last time I'm actually going to say that, since next week it'll be 1921. But
1921?
Yeah, in 100 years ago. So, but this is our last 1920, 100 years ago, items that were actually published in the newspaper back then that with 2020 eyes we look back on and chuckle about. We mix all those up and we call it Greeley Crimes and Old Times, and we do that every week. Plus we have, yes, I don't know if we would have this earlier on, but we do have a Wretched Pun of Destiny. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you can see what my wife thinks of those. The Wretched Pun of Destiny. This is a short, very, very short, little tiny story that ends with, I wouldn't say a happy ending. I wouldn't say actually the ending is kind of tragic, because the last bit is a terrible, egregious play on words. A play on words that makes you go, oh, you're getting so good with those. A play on words that you just sit there and go, oh, yeah, Yeah, ruins her day. I would say it ruins your week, but in 2020, so many other things ruin your week. This is kind of minor by comparison. But we will have a Wretched Pun of Destiny all about terror in Disneyland. That was a terrifying boing right there. And as Joyce, my wonderful, darling, amazing wife, reminded me, happy birthday to a friend of the Daverhood, someone who will actually be joining us on our New Year's broadcast this week, as she has for many weeks, my Aunt Esther. Hey, Esther, happy, because very often she's listening. Of course, right now she probably wouldn't be, but if you are listening, Auntie Essie, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you, and many, many, many more. So that is what is going to be. Oh, and also we're going to go inside Broadway. I'm so sorry. We will also be talking about a little bit about the Broadway theater, just because we have some very, very sad news. We lost a friend of the Daverhood this week, a pretty major Broadway personage, and we're going to be farewell to her in our Inside Broadway segment. So all of that to do on this 778th episode of Dave's Gone By. We're calling it Alt-Right. Get it? Because it's Sean Altman, and he's going to be right with us, right? Man, you've gotten like an expert on those things. That is so cool.
I have my tea.
So, honey, how, dare I ask how your week was?
It was very good.
Yeah.
I survived.
Yes.
And then I watched a lot of, what's the show I like on the Broadway? What's the one with the Everything Goes Wrong cast?
That's
I love them.
literally what it's called. It's Joyce and I have been, well, we took the plunge. You know, we watch Netflix. We binge Netflix a lot. But Joyce is like, you've been here so long, you haven't seen any live theater. Nobody has. And you miss Broadway. And I'm kind of interested in Broadway, which, kind of shocked me, because she's always hated musicals and not into any Broadway theater at all. She was always into off-Broadway stuff. But she does like darker material and English shows and Russian shows and things like that. So she was like, well, she came across this channel called Broadway HD that I've known about, but I never bothered to bring up. And she's like, well, want to see what's on it. So we go poking through Broadway HD, and what do you know? We got ourselves a 1-year subscription to save money rather than doing it month by month. And there's about 300 or so productions on there to watch. And I'm figuring, okay, so she's going to watch Ibsen's Ghosts, and we're going to watch these terribly dark and depressing things. And instead, just because it's so dreary in the middle of the weekend, we have a snowstorm and we have rain and gray, it's like comedy. And and we watched the television version of a Broadway and off-Broadway show called The Show That Goes Wrong, or the Play That Goes Wrong, excuse me. On Broadway, I was kind of meh. I laughed a little bit. It's about 2.5 hours long. I was like really kind of
that bitter one?
Struggling to get through it. What?
What's the bitter one with the couples of Christmas?
No, that's different. That's a play. That's Absurd Person Singular.
That was ouchy.
But we watched that too. But we were watching the whole series, the same crew, the same cast and people who put together The Play That Goes Wrong, which was playing off Broadway up until March 12th. And now I want to go back and see. Now that I know these actors, now that I've watched them do other things, and now that I'm like, oh, maybe I'll appreciate it more this time. Because watching the series, if you guys have Broadway HD or can get it some other way, that's true. You can get a 7-day trial. Do it. If you want, especially on New Year's Day, if you're sick of watching The Honeymooners, all 39 episodes on New Year's Day, or The Odd Couple, or Twilight Zone, everybody does Twilight Zone, or It's a Wonderful Freaking Life, take a break, say, okay, I just want to laugh like an idiot for hours straight. Just put on The Show Goes Wrong. And it is marvelous what they do in about half an hour, where it's not just as satirizing genres like Mel Brooks did with a bunch of his movies. They are literally booby-trapping everything. So whether it's a World War II spy kind of situation, or whether they're in a law, what do you call it, a courtroom drama, then they always throw in a couple of things that make everything go topsy-turvy, because the sets and the costumes and the actors as well are playing into the idea that everything that possibly could go wrong will go wrong. Sometimes in unexpected ways, sometimes in ways you completely expect, and yet it's still hysterical. And they jerry-rig the set so that things will break and smash, and I can't even do it justice to properly describe it. For example, the courtroom one. Okay, so they're in a courtroom, and the sets are wonderful. They're beautifully constructed, and they look great when when the scene first starts, before they become destroyed little by little throughout the show. So the idea of one of them had to do with the builders. It's kind of like that Stonehenge gag in Spinal Tap, where the builders of the set got the wrong information and did centimeters instead of yards. So now you've got the cast completely crammed into a set that's about a fifth the size of what it ought to be. So of course they can't stand up without their heads going through the ceiling. They can't sit down. If one lawyer pushes down on the table goes into the other person's crotch. You have to see it. And then there's
one girl gets, the one actress always gets hit in the head.
Oh yeah.
One time one time they did the two rooms at right angles to each other.
That was amazing.
And then the other time they did it at centimeter to inch scale. They got the scale wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
It's crazy.
The right angle one, I don't even know how they did it. I don't know if the actors and they just tilted the camera. I think that would be cheating. I will bet that the actors actually worked like sideways at a 90-degree angle.
They like spilled coffee on each other. It's really bad.
It's beautifully done.
The sets constantly fall.
Yeah. We also saw, I mean, just by sheer chance, I'm the last person to watch Christmas stuff, but it just seemed by maybe
Oh, the baking show too. We watched.
Broadway HD also is kind of knows that it's the holidays, so they up front some holiday stuff. We watched the old Alan Ayckbourn play Absurd Person Singular.
That was vicious.
Yeah, man, I didn't realize.
Very vicious.
Ayckbourn's a genius. I've seen several of his plays, and Norman Conquest is probably my favorite. But Absurd Person Singular,
is that on Broadway?
Oh yeah, yeah. He's a Mossad. You get the feeling that he doesn't like people very much. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's a very nice guy in person. He's direct. He runs a theater out there in somewhere.
All of the interactions are very bitter.
Yeah, I mean, the people are terrible.
Yeah.
it takes place on Christmas. I never saw the play done.
They all have problems. So the first couple, the guy wants to impress. He wants to become like an entrepreneur, so he wants to impress the other two couples. So he treats his wife badly. Then in the second one, the one she's mentally ill, and their house is like in squalor. And then the last one, it's the
richer
up-and-coming guy becomes famous, and the rich guy, you find out his wife is an alcoholic, and the kids don't visit them on Christmas. It's very vicious.
And that is an early play in the Ayckbourn canon. And looking back on his plays, you think, oh, he writes comedies that are tricky. So that, famously, in the Norman Conquests, there are 3 separate plays that all interconnect. Like one takes place in the garden for 90 consecutive, it's done in basically real time.
Well, this one happens just in kitchens. You just see people's kitchens.
And they're separated by a year. Each one takes place on Christmas. But the other one is they all take place in the same time frame, but in different rooms of the same house. So he does that kind of brilliantly, that sort of tricky thing or gimmicky. But it's so much more than that. But he has such a dark view sometimes of human nature. It's wonderful.
He makes you look like an optimist.
He really does. Yeah. And because you think, oh, who writes like comedies? No, there's, ooh. Anywho, we enjoyed watching that. Of course, we watched British Baking Show, the Christmas editions, just because we like the British Baking Show. What else did we propaganda at?
Well, we watched the movie of the Scrooge thing.
Well, the Goes Wrong version of Christmas Carol they also did, which that wasn't as good.
Well, Judy Dench thing I didn't care for.
We watched 1 minute of it. We didn't even look at it, but so So what I'm saying, I guess I'm saying is Broadway HD has already paid off for us. I'm not doing a commercial for it. I'm just saying.
No, you know the lady who did it. Remember that nice lady was Barbara or something?
Again?
Who's the woman who she wrote me on Facebook? She was part of Broadway HD.
Oh, so it must be. I'll bet you it's Stuart Lane and Bonnie Conley.
Thank you. Yeah. Barbara.
Yeah, Stuart actually is a friend of the Daverhood. He actually, I think, put that together. So we just gave them $99. Happy holidays, Stuart and Barbara.
It's worth it.
Deserved.
It's worth it because think of all the tickets you got as a critic, right?
Yeah, well, yeah.
And
Or
if we both went to off Broadway and went to eat, we would pay more than $100.
Right, literally, and we have 51 and a half more weeks of viewing for whatever they can get the rights to and put up. So definitely well worth it, definitely recommended, and a nice way for us to spend a week where there's nothing to freaking do. You know, no restaurants to eat in.
Oh, Vicky said, what about the Twilight Zone marathon?
Well, as I said, it's just, you can watch it, go ahead. First of all, I find a lot of the Twilight Zones really creepy or depressing. It's not the way I want to start my year.
I'm going to say makes Dave cry.
That's right. It makes Dave cry and wet his underpants.
Gives Dave the night tremors.
And speaking of underpants, has that been catching on? Remember that last week I did ask people, and I did say, look, it makes no sense that I wear an undershirt, I wear underpants, and yet these things on my feet are called socks. They should be undershoes, or as Joyce says, well,
overfeet.
Not everybody wears shoes, they're overfeet. And yet I still, when I go on Walmart or Target or Kohl's, I still see them advertised as socks. We need to stop this, folks. We need some logic in our language. So please, you know, if you go into one of these places and you start shopping and you see the sign for...
David, nobody goes shopping, it's all online. You can type in.
Then email.
You know, why don't you go on causes.com and make a petition?
Is there a causes.com?
Yeah, it's like causes.com. You can make a petition.
Well, first of all, I don't believe in Santa Claus.
No, but you can make a petition to change the name. They'll do it.
Yeah. But, or if you guys are ordering and you're ordering these things that go over your Tootsies and you're online, just start up a chat and tell the person there, you know, they've got people working in Pakistan or somewhere, just say, I want to buy this product from your company. However, I feel that you are mislabeling this product. These are not socks, and do put those in non-air quotes, but actual quotes. Please rename them either overfeet or undershoes. Most sincerely, try it. Just get the movement going. You know, 2020 was the year of Black Lives Matter and Antifa. Let 2021 be the year. Yes, in causes.com. Let 2021 be the year of overfeet. WBIO. We believe in overfeet. WeBio. Change.org. Do that. You know, Obama's not president anymore. We can do change.org. This has to change.
We can do change.org.
Yes. Yeah. Everybody, please write in. You know, and at some point, if it gets to that, we'll have a march on Washington, barefoot, for obvious reasons, and just walk along. And at the end, or in Atlanta, we'll walk from one end of Atlanta to the other, and we'll go barefoot. And then at the other end at the end of the march, there'll be this giant pile of overfeet, and we all, yes. Well, Pete Seeger's dead, but maybe we can get Arlo or the remaining people of Peter, Paul, and Mary.
What's that girl's name?
Mary, she's dead. Who? No, who?
What's the little chicklet? The one who sings. Not Taylor Dane.
Taylor Swift?
Taylor Swift, yeah.
She could, maybe, she will sing.
Yeah.
We shall overfeed. We shall she won't sing it in that kind of voice. Feed. We shall overfeed today. Yes, you know, straight up my legs. You know, something like that will happen. I did not plan that, folks. That just came out of right there. Whoa, yeah, this is what we do.
About my Gap workout clothes for like hours now.
Well, what about your Gap workout clothes?
First they told me they texted me like 6 in the morning saying would you come today by 9 at night. Now it's between 9 a.m. and 1.
Oh, wonderful. Well, please. The Journey of the Moleskin Notebook.
Oh, please.
Here we go.
I'm so upset about it.
That also happened this week. The Journey of the Moleskin. No, one of Joyce's life support items. Yeah. One of the things that keeps her on the straight and narrow, keeps her going.
David, my Haldol.
Her Haldol. What keeps her from taking the gas pipe, ladies and gentlemen, is her beloved 18-month moleskin calendar.
I love it.
Every year, and especially, she's a professor, so she has to note down all her meetings and all when things are due and deadlines and when grading is due, and plus, when she does the gym and all this stuff.
I need to log it.
It is very important to her to have this organization.
And for most people, you type and we text and we do everything, but there's a connection from the written connection that's really important.
The physical act of writing even if she'll remember it because she's writing it, doesn't matter. It's in there. She can look at it. It's part of it, and she loves that. She has this thing. She loves the 18-month weekly style moleskin notebook, right? Fantastic. She gets it every single year, or I get it for her as a gift and so forth, because I know as one of the things is perfect for this time of year. It's a gift that you can give around Hanukkah or New Year's.
When we had when we lived in Colorado,
mm-hmm.
all the time you got me the Metropolitan Museum of Art calendar that I love.
Yeah, there was a daily tearaway calendar by Thatcher.
Piece of artwork. It was gorgeous. Yeah. That was my favorite.
Do you still want that? I can still get that, but that won't go in your office or anything.
I assume that someone was.
Oh, I may have to after this show's over.
Aren't you getting that?
What? Yes, of course, of course. But
yeah, aren't you getting that?
That was more for just aesthetics and nice to look at a painting every day. This is her Bible, her diary. This is her Torah, in a matter of speaking. If it's in there, she knows that her life is going according to Hoyle.
You should get the updates to your phone. You get texted.
All right.
You get a text.
Textuses we'll get. So I ordered it about 2-3 weeks ago, or really early in December. So before even the Christmas quote unquote rush or any of that, we put down an order for this moleskin. It's like $22 or something. So.
Darn that Newark, what is it called?
And meanwhile we're ordering all these other things from Amazon as well. So it's not stuff like overfeet, and what else do we order? Drain unclogger things.
We ordered cans of soup. We have everything.
Yeah, we just ordered a big old Amazon order for all the stuff that we wanted and needed, and so much of it came, and yet there's a bottle of it's either shampoo or conditioner, and this Amazon and this moleskin notebook, and we're waiting. And everything else is showing up. Everything is coming to the door 3 days later, 5 days later. I said, where's that notebook? So we go tracking it, because you can go on Amazon and say, well, where's this package? And it says, package, and then this is like a week and a half later, packages is in Newark, New Jersey, in a distribution facility in Newark, New Jersey. And this is a week ago. And day after day.
It's like the nexus. It's like the black hole. My Gap package that we ordered like 2 weeks later just is coming today.
Yeah.
That's somewhere hovering over Newark. It was in the Newark Metropolitan
Distribution Center. Yes. Honest to God.
What is that?
So, and it's staying,
I don't even think that's a real thing.
And meanwhile, it gets to the point, and this is already 3 days ago, where I check again on Amazon itself rather than going to U.S. Postal Service. I check on Amazon and says, your product may still arrive, but we presume it's lost.
Whoa.
If you want a refund, here's what you have to do, so on and so forth. So Amazon isn't even necessarily coordinated with the packaging of the U.S. Postal Service. Because if you take the tracking number and you go on USPS, it shows your package is in Newark. Our package was in Newark, New Jersey a week ago. 3 days ago, it was still sitting in a distribution center in Newark, New Jersey. Now, I don't know if Santa is really lazy this year. Maybe a lot more people are mailing gifts because, but finally they're saying it somehow made it out of the black hole that is New Jersey. It got out of Newark. Not a lot of people can, not a lot of anything can get out of Newark, New Jersey. But the Moleskine notebook has, and made it to a distribution center in New York, New York.
It's made to another distribution center.
Right, which is saying that it should arrive on Monday, the 28th. It was supposed to arrive the 23rd at the latest. So I hate to say this, I almost guarantee you that we'll get another message from Amazon saying it's probably lost, or it went back, it popped around the New York City distribution center, didn't really like it because New York is going downhill, and decided to hightail it back to New Jersey and eventually back to Amazon. I don't know. And if you try and order it somewhere else, because Joyce is starting to,
Moleskine, I think, is Italian, and I try to order, but it won't accept my credit card. When I first ordered, I didn't want to go through Amazon. I wanted to go through Moleskine, and then it wouldn't do it. There was something wrong. It did it when I tried to order from them last year too.
Well, I don't know what it is. First of all, I should explain that it's not actually made out of a mole's skin.
No, I'm a vegetarian. I don't eat
and then the little baby ones that they do, those little diaries, are made from mole foreskins. But the big ones are just kind of I don't know what the material is made out of, but it's very nice to feel. It has texture, so there's friction. It's soft. It's really nice. But thing is, we are hoping that Monday, because if you go to the Moleskine company, you can't order. They're back ordered. They don't even have them to sell right now.
I can order the 12-month one. I have backup.
Good. So that is the tale of the Moleskine notebook in Newark, New Jersey. Of such things are our lives during a pandemic made, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I gotta tell you. So that's what happened this week. Speaking of things that we ordered, speaking of things that we bought online rather than getting them in person.
Well, thank God I got them because I really need them.
One of the things that Joyce needs, and again, kind of has to be a certain way for her. Cause
I don't like the green one though. Tell people that dark green one.
I will. Here's the deal.
They were in order, David.
Really?
Yeah, they were.
We put the two greens together.
That's okay. It's okay. That'll be okay.
So, rather than your basic normal yellow sticky pad, Joyce likes to use color coordinated sticky pads of a certain rainbow hue. And so we have to find them. And we would walk through Staples back in the day. We would go through all these places and we'd look at like sticky pads. There's no wrong colors. No, don't like that. Too bright, too fluorescent. I'm like, okay, we'll keep looking. And usually we find the sticky pads that she wanted. Well, online we came pretty close this time to getting the sticky pad colors that, see, this is too strong for her. The green is a little too green, I guess. Whereas these more pale color, that's perfect for writing. That's perfect for seeing like pen or ink, right? And this blue one, how lovely. So we ordered this. We ordered just this pack of Post-it notes. That's what they're called, Post-it notes. The beautiful thing about this, and the thing that is so incredibly American about this is, by the way, and they're sticky pads.
And they came in like a day.
They're posted. They came almost over. The Moleskine notebook takes a month. This comes in a day, right? You can drop it. I'm gonna drop one. Boom, flat, like a. Like, I am dropping the green one actually. Boom, right? It even turns. It flips over. You can fondle it. You can do this. It's paper. Okay. So shipping should not be a problem for something like this.
Put it in an envelope.
If I tell, yes, you could actually, if you really sealed a regular envelope and you put them side by side, you could probably mail them for about $1.10 in a small envelope, and it would get to you. Amazon, however, decides, and by the way, this came by itself. Nothing else was in the package but this. Okay, I'll show you, like, this is the size of my head. This is the size of these Post-it notes, typical standard Post-it notes. They came a day or two after we ordered them. in this box, I don't want to show our address there, but behold, literally with packing material. I open it, I'm like, oh, exciting. I'm opening maybe the shampoo's in here, maybe the notebook's in here, maybe I ordered some like vegetable friends. No, it's like I open the box.
People want to know when
And it was this, 10:15. So that is so American to me. It's this idea of really, it would not have been cheaper or somehow more economical or better for the environment to use a box that was, say the size of my xylophone. Wouldn't that have been a better idea? I don't know. Oh. Anywho, I have one other complaint since we've got the baby crying. Actually, really appropriate for this. Can you explain to me, ladies and gentlemen, the dearth of imagination of videographers and news people and folks who are reporting current events on television, and I guess in movies too, but specifically on television? We have, thank goodness, I'm hoping, safe vaccines that are slowly rolling out, both from Pfizer and Moderna, to help us combat, if not get cured from, coronavirus, right? Pfizer rolled it out. It's good. They're giving it to people. They're giving it to first responders. They're giving it to nurses, I guess, and nursing home people.
The front line is all the medical people. The second wave are people at high risk, and then the last wave are the regular folk.
The rest of us. So by the time the regular folk are all dead, we will be able to get the shots, either from Pfizer or Moderna. So, but it's fantastic news. I mean, if you think about it, a lot of people really do get credit for coming up with a vaccine only a couple of months after the pandemic was even discovered. What an amazing time that we live in. I don't know how long it took from polio to happen to Jonas Salk figuring out how.
Even other people like our friend, people were don't say her name, we can't.
No.
They were working on the virus and virus research for years before.
And that because there was MRSA, there was.
There were other, SARS and COVID are related. So people were working on SARS, people were working on similar retroviruses. Right?
Yeah, well, that's why they call it novel coronavirus, because it's bigger than a novella. No, but it's a version of something that's already been there and that people have been working on. But isn't it fantastic? And, I know everybody who watches this program hates President Trump, but Operation Warp Speed, somebody was letting it happen, that they could create a vaccine and get it rolling like this, and that drug companies, and there's another one. I don't know if it's J&J, but there's another company that now has a vaccine they went out.
Eli.
Is it Lilly?
Yeah. But Lilly they're working out some kinks.
Well, of course they're working out some kinks. It's a brand new version of a virus. Months later, they want to save everybody. It's a brand new version of a virus, and now they need to make a vaccine.
Viruses mutate.
Yeah. But the deal is, I think it is quite wonderful and amazing that these scientists and these doctors can do this so quickly, and that the money and the space and the American and world ingenuity that went into having something ready so quickly is extraordinary, right? Fantastic. I wish a piece of that invention and ingenuity could go to the folks who are, who are reporting about this. Because every time you see any news item, and I don't care if you're watching Fox News or MSNBC, I don't care if you're watching CBS, ABC, PIX11, or New York One, anytime they do any kind of story about Moderna or Pfizer or the vaccine or any of it, what do they have to show? What is the first thing you see? Whether you're eating breakfast or doing whatever, it's like, oh, let's show somebody's arm with a needle going right into it. I happen to be, I wouldn't say phobic, but I'm borderline needle phobic.
Oh, you are.
I don't like vaccines and shots and blood tests. They make me really, I don't quite faint, but I get unbelievably, my blood pressure goes through the roof. I sweat. I almost hyperventilate. It's just as my daily morning ritual, Joyce says. But it just, it absolutely, I know it's not, what's the word, not realistic. I know it's not logical compared to the actual real pain of getting just a shot. I know I'm hyper overreacting to it. But at the same time, it's a thing. It's one of the things that ooks me out, right? So the last thing I want to see, right, is, well, the second to last. The last thing I want to see is me getting a shot. The last thing I want to watch is somebody else having their skin penetrated by a vaccination. I don't want to see the thing, and that's all you see. If you watch the news and they've got anything about the vaccine, it's like, well, we're standing here outside Fort Reed Medical Center. Okay, so you see the news person standing outside the building, with the crawl under them and the microphone. Next shot, somebody sitting in a chair, real brave, got the arm up, and without any warning, it's like needle going in. And you're watching somebody being stabbed. And if you sit there and you watch the news, you might see it 5 times in one program and 50 times a day all over and it has ever so slightly, I have to say this, has ever so slightly inured me to the process. I'm actually okay. It is like the Clockwork Orange aversion therapy, I guess. I say, oh, somebody else is getting a shot. Okay, I'm not going to vomit. I'm not going to even necessarily close my eyes. I'm going to see, oh, somebody's getting a shot. How nice. And then just, because the good part is it's a 2-second shot. And then they have the sensibility to cut to something else. But I just don't, could you imagine if in the Orthodox community, and they were watching television and they had TV all their own, and their own network and stuff. If every other...
Don't they have Heshy?
Well, that's something else. But I'm saying, imagine that if there was a big story about circumcisions.
Do you want your lob salad?
My what?
Your lob salad.
No, I'm good. I've got, thank you. Imagine if in the Orthodox community there was a big controversy or some new procedure, some new incredible techniques that rabbis were learning about circumcision. Oh. Could you imagine if every time you turned on the news in the Orthodox community, it's like, we're outside Temple Sons of Israel here, and a bris is taking place. And the next shot, you see a baby's leg spread open. You see a moil with a special knife, and he's lifting the thing, and it's like now we cut the pee-pee. Yeah, literally, imagine that. That's what almost watching vaccinations on TV is to me. I used to tell this about when we first got cable television, when I was still like a teenager or something, and we were living on Long Island, and cable didn't know what to do with itself. They had all these channels, nothing to run on them except repeats and stuff like, and the major networks. And there was one educational borderline, government public access thing, and you would put it on in the morning at like 8 o'clock in the morning when you're having breakfast, and they were showing surgery.
Well, there was a surgery channel, remember?
Yes. Yeah, and it was in the low numbers too.
I love that channel. I absolutely love
No, I did not. I did not. It's like, let's have oatmeal time. Neck surgery. Yeah.
When I used to work, so I used to volunteer when I was younger in the OR and the ER. And I was in the OR, and they called me to bring a stretcher. Like, used to wheel the stretcher to pick up the person after surgery. And so I said, well, the person should be ready. We don't have anything ready. It was some kind of eye surgery, and the surgeon thought, oh, I'll bring in like my cousin or somebody. And as soon as they cut into the eye, the cousin took a header and fell.
Yes.
Hit their head on the floor and like injured themselves in the OR.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they had to like get the person out so they could complete the surgery. Yeah,
my dad was telling the story. He had they were doing some kind of thing that he had to see, and it was either him or one of his buddies. He was in the Air Force, and he was like, "Okay, I'm on my feet. And either I don't think he collapsed, but he was about to. He had to kind of get out of there. Yeah.
Some people can handle it.
But I do not, over my toasted Odie Wee bumps, I do not want to see eye surgery. But that's what you would do. You would go up to like channel 16 if you're flipping channels on cable, and there it was, like in front of you, like circumcision eye surgery. It's like, we're doing 2 at once. The baby has cataracts and the foreskin. Zoop, zoop. Oh, ooh, we need to cut a little more into the pupil. I was like, think of something else. Show, be creative. TV people. If you want to show a vaccine, like take a hypodermic and put it into an orange.
They probably get the same footage, right? So they use the same footage for flu shot, for anything, for school, back to school. They use the same footage.
Yeah, that's the other thing. That's right. It isn't just for the pandemic. Every time it's flu season time, yes. And they want to tell you that the flu vaccine is available. How do they do this? By showing you somebody with their sleeve rolled up and a little piece of cotton. It's like, bah, And they always show the brave people. They don't show the people like me who literally, and this is what I always have done when I get a blood test or a shot. The only way I can get through is I start singing. Literally, I pity everybody in the waiting room. I pity the doctor because I start singing. I feel like they put the little alcohol on, and it's like, there's no business like show business, like no business I know. Everything about it is up here. I get through it literally just by taking my mind and putting it elsewhere. I'm not internally either. I don't just sing in my head. It's gotta come out my mouth and fill the doctor's office, the waiting room, the gas station down the street, just until it's done. I'm like, oh, the plowman and the farmer should be friends. Oh, the plowman and the farmer should be friends. We done. I mean, that's. Did I? And I feel real bad for the dentist. They were great. They said you were very scared to sing. Oh, I would do anything. Yeah. Oh man. So please think of something, if filmmakers can suggest sex by a train barreling through a tunnel, I think that news people can suggest a vaccination by taking a drinking straw and perhaps popping it through a donut, something like that. Please have a heart, guys. Anyway. I'm all heart. My name is Dave, and you're watching the Dave's Gone By Facebookio Podcastio Programmio of the stream live on this Saturday, December 26th, 2020. It's our 778th episode, and we're calling it Alt-Right, because our guest in the Daverhood is Sean Altman, the singer, the musician, the arranger, very smart and funny guy, the creator of Jumongous, the former I guess we'd say a lead arranger and singer of the band Rockapella, although he doesn't just do, he also plays instruments and sings with guitar and stuff. He does a whole bunch of stuff. And he will be with us talking to Rabbi Sol Solomon in just a little while, about 25 minutes from now on Dave's Gone By. We will also have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. We'll have a Wretched Pun of Destiny. We'll go inside Broadway. But before we do all of that, shall we Greelyize ourselves, my dear? I think we shall. What I mean is, and I mentioned this earlier, we go to the place that Joyce and I used to live, Greeley, Colorado, for a mix of Coplog and 100 Years Ago in a segment that we like to call Greely Crimes and Old Times. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Greely Crimes and Old Times. You can feel the criminality rising, can't you? Well, here's what it is. Here's, as I said, Joyce and I lived in Greeley, Colorado for several years. We get the Greeley newspaper, which is called the Greely Tribune. And in it, there are two stories. One is about phone calls that people make to the police department when they see something in their neighborhood that they're worried about. And also, Mike Peters, our friend in the neighborhood, writes a column called Greeley 100 Years Ago. And these are things that were in the newspaper quite literally 10 decades ago, back in the end of 1920. He picks the strangest, funnest ones, and we share them with you every week here in the Daverhood. So we begin with, as ever, a little bit of crime from Greeley Crimes and Old Times. Police responded to reports of a suspicious person outside a restaurant on Center Place Drive. What happened? A man fell asleep listening to music alone in his car.
Oh my God, what?
Somehow that's both ridiculous and depressing. Yeah.
Why can't he just sleep with the music in his car?
What is suspicious about? I mean, I understand after.
Maybe they think he was.
Oh, ew.
He was probably hooting.
He was getting romantic with himself, perhaps. I don't know. Anywho, another caller later that day was concerned about people moving furniture, boxes, bags, and other items out of both sides of a building, quote, really fast.
You know what that's called?
What?
Moving.
Yeah, I mean, that's called movers I would hire.
What category would that be in, honey?
And that would be called like, yeah, get these guys on Craigslist.
Yeah.
Come on. Now let's do some old times as well. So this is something that appeared in the newspaper 100 years ago. G.W. Jordan. G.W. Jordan, a Greeley resident who deals in patent medicines, hired a man to drive him to Brighton, excuse me, for some sales. Jordan was asleep in the auto.
Oh wait, we don't have the auto crash.
Wait, the crash noise. He was asleep in the auto when the driver he hired stopped and attacked him, trying to rob him.
David, that's early Uber.
The driver tried to knock Jordan out by hitting him in the head with, and I apologize for using this word, hit him in the head with a sock full of sand.
Oh, God.
Or as I like to say, an overfoot full of sand. Excuse me. However, in the swing, no, I thank you, but I'm good. Just have to gargle with this a little bit. However, in the swing, the overfoot ripped open and all the sand flew out. The driver fled and police are looking for him. This would probably cause more damage by sand being everywhere in the car now.
That's terrible.
Oh man. That poor G.W. Jordan. Oh well. By the way, you can, I don't know if you'll believe this, you can forecast the daily weather by dropping a sugar cube in a cup of coffee. If the bubbles rush to the side of the cup, you can expect heavy rain. If they come straight up and then pass to the sides, that means slight showers. If the bubbles refuse to go to the sides of the cup, you can be assured there will be no rain that day. And apparently, same rules apply if you fart in a hot tub. So there it goes.
That's disgusting.
Yes, it is, isn't it? Let's do one more old timer. Home Gas and Electric Company announced that if you want to keep your wife happy, she needs something electrical. ... What do you think they suggest?
A radiator.
Oh, that's actually a nice idea. They're a little more pragmatic, though. An electric toaster, vacuum cleaner, washing machine, electric grill, or percolator will be received with profuse thanks from the woman in your life.
That's crazy.
This was in the newspaper. Yeah, my dad learned his lesson one time. He got Mom, this is true, a vacuum cleaner for her birthday. Did not go well. She's torturing him now because he got her a vacuum cleaner for her birthday. Yeah. And he had no idea why she wasn't thrilled. He had no idea. He thought, well, it works, it's the best model, it'll make her life so much easier. Yeah, men. Anywho, let's get back to some criminality. For example, hey, where did my crimes go? Oh no, I've lost my crime. Oh, here they are. Police responded to a fast food restaurant on 35th Avenue, where a caller reported an ongoing issue with a man sitting in his car and never getting out until the caller leaves. What do you think was actually going on?
He didn't get the right order.
No. Good guess, though.
He ran out of gas?
No, a great guess, but no. The man was just using the restaurant's free Wi-Fi.
Oh, come on.
That's actually a great idea.
You were there, so when I was waiting for you to pick up food.
The other day, yeah.
Yeah, there was a guy next to us, and I didn't know what he was doing in the car. He had his computer on. I think he was using Wi-Fi from the restaurant.
That makes total sense. How is, I would love to know how people get on the Long Island Railroad.
They use a hotspot, honey.
Is that what it is? They put a hotspot on the phone? Yeah. If I ever get back on the Long Island Railroad, I will certainly start doing that, because it was just like, why is it we're paying so much for cable, and yet I can't use it a mile away from home? So, anywho, let's go elsewhere. So part of doing Greeley Crimes Old Times is finding a story or two that isn't from Colorado, that goes even further afield, but is still worth reporting on. For example, yes. This happens so often we shouldn't be surprised, but still it's always surprising and delightful. Dateline, South Africa. This story comes from Fox News. A South African farmer was mauled to death on Sunday by his pet hippo.
Oh, man.
I repeat, his pet hippo, which he had previously referred to as, quote, like a son to me. Marius Els was found dead in a river, having been repeatedly bitten by his pet Humphrey. Humphrey. Earlier this year, he posted footage that went viral of riding the 2,000-pound hippopotamus in the water. Quote, it's a little dangerous, but I trust him with my heart.
Isn't it like that orangutan that ripped off the face?
Yeah. Well, did he rip off his trainer's face or her friend's face? That was worse.
Or even you can know.
No, it's a hippo.
Remember the girl too? She had these two pit bulls or mastiffs, and she didn't feed them. They mistreated them. They lived in an apartment, and then they took she and the husband and they mauled them in the hallway. Yeah. What's wrong? Because people are crazy. People are not. We were watching. I don't think it was produced. We watched the documentary that was produced by Werner Herzog, but his best-known documentary was a movie called Grizzly Man. No. And was this guy who would live for several months of the year with this bear. He was friends with a bear, and he fed the bear, and he romped with a bear. Do air quotes, he was friends.
He was friends with a bear. Well, he was friends. The bear was not always necessarily friends with him.
I don't think the bear liked him that much.
And one morning, the bear woke up grumpy.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. And the last footage of this man, there's no video, thank God, but there's audio of the man being mauled to death by his grizzly friend. It's what the film builds to. It's just this audio recording of a guy going, and then being really, really quiet, So I assume that's kind of what happened with Hippo Boy.
How did they get it? How did they retrieve it?
How did they what?
Retrieve the footage.
Oh, I guess they went up to, when the spring came.
To find him?
Yeah, and people came up to get him back to the mainland. It was kind of like also that other story that was an animal involved. That was a kid who accidentally ate poison plants and dropped dead.
I don't know that one.
That was a great movie, not a documentary. It was a docudrama, a very good book too. Into the Wild, if you've ever seen it. No, accidentally. He was starving. He didn't bring enough provisions, and he was kind of iced in where he was. He wanted to tough out the winter by himself, and didn't realize how difficult that would be. And then at some point he was so starving, he just ate a plant or a mushroom or something that killed him, and they found him eventually, and when the spring broke. But Hippo Man, Marius Els, bitten to death, he had said previously, it's a little dangerous, but I trust him with my heart. I can swim with him, go in the water.
Why did he attack him? Was he hungry?
We will never know. Yeah.
Did they find the hippo?
That's a good question. I assume it's a hippo. I hope they don't put the hippo down for being, a hippopotamus. It's not as if a dog was suddenly docile and turned, then you have to put it down.
Hippos just eat vegetation. They don't eat meat.
That's a good... Is that true? They're not...
I think hippos are veg, yeah.
They might be. Well, Hippo maybe didn't try to eat him. He just attacked him.
Maybe he didn't like him anymore.
He lets me get on his back, and I ride him like a horse. He's like a son to me. Incredible. All I have to say for Maricels is, this is what happens to boys and their dads when the boys turn into teenagers. Just, the relationship is never the same.
Hey, look at this, herbivore.
Yeah, well.
Herbivore.
So I guess that's why he figured he wasn't in any...
They only eat grass.
Yeah.
And they have a sedentary lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And they consume about 88 pounds of grass every day.
What can I tell you? Bees don't eat human flesh, but if you get near them, they'll sting you.
Occasionally,
they've
had a few reports of hippos eating carrion, which is dead stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not suited. So most,
Actually, can you look up prairie dog?
BBC News reports that the hippo is the world's. Here, read this.
Oh, let me. Yeah. This is BBC News reports that the hippo is the world's largest land mammal killer.
See?
It's estimated that the aggressive animal with sharp teeth kills 500 people a year in Africa. Hippos can crush a human to death with their weight ranging anywhere from 3,000 to 9,000 pounds.
Oh.
So this hippo was a baby. This thing was only 2,000 pounds, a ton. And it was not a ton of fun for Marius Els, let me tell you.
What a way to go, especially being killed by a friend. That's like...
That's right.
It's like you think someone's a friend and then they eat you.
Like, buddy, I was going to give you back the $10. Ow, ow, ow. By the way, it's a little bit after 10 o'clock in the morning Eastern time here on Dave's Gone By, where we are doing Greeley Crimes and Old Times with my darling and adorable wife, Joyce. I'm Dave Lefkowitz. You're watching this program, which, by the way, if you want to find out more about it, you can go to davesgoneby.com, DAVESGONEBY, davesgoneby.com. So if you wanted to watch last week's show or the week before that, or all the way back to our very first episode, going back to October of 2002, it is there. You can hear me like 18 and a half years ago doing a short version of this program. Audio only, because we were on the radio, but it's there for free. And all the interviews we've done and all the skits and the songs and the fun, all there at davesgoneby.com. We also take the archives and we put them on archive.org. Just search for Dave's Gone By there. Plus, we put our audio archives at castbox.fm. It's, if you're specifically looking for podcasts where it's audio only, castbox.fm. And we try and post all our stuff on YouTube too. So lots and lots of ways to watch and enjoy, not just live with us on Dave's Gone By every Saturday morning, but all the stuff that we've done whenever you feel like it. Just go to davesgoneby.com. Okay, so, and also a reminder, if any of you happen to be awake for any particular reason, we also have chopped up our recent broadcasts, and we take an hour of them here and there and throw them on public access. So if you happen to be up tomorrow morning at 1 a.m., early Monday morning, put on channel 20 if you're on Altice Cable here on Long Island, and you should see me. And the same also on Tuesday at 4 a.m. Oh, I get the best time slots, don't I? Mondays at 1 a.m., Tuesdays at 4 a.m. for a little bit of more of this. Really, the best way to see the show is at davesgoneby.com. Anyway, let's do a little bit more of Greeley Crimes and Old Times. Oh, we were just talking about this guy. There is trouble in paradise, ladies and gentlemen. Dateline. This is very sad. Kazakhstan. Yuri Tolochko, the bodybuilder, we talked about him last week, who married his sex doll, Margot. Well, he spent Christmas alone. Do you know why, dear?
They divorced.
No. According to the Daily Star, she broke. And he sent her to, that's what broke her. He sent her to another city to be fixed. So he had to spend our version of Christmas alone by himself, waiting for his beloved, the sex doll that he married in an actual ceremony.
Is that legal?
I can't
Maybe
even.
in a Jersey distribution center.
Well, then he won't get her back until 2024. Yeah. The good news, this is actually potentially good news, is that in Kazakhstan, for some reason, Christmas is January 7th.
Oh.
So there is a possibility that Yuri Tolochko may be back together with his fiancée, well, no, his wife. And if she is back in time, Tolochko says he might stay at home with her and, quote, order steaks and sushi, or, quote, have some fun with friends.
Oh.
Yeah.
Even the famous people live just like we do.
But I'm getting the feeling, I read a little bit more about this guy, I'm getting the feeling he's kind of performance artisty, because he went to a transgender party thing in Kazakhstan, dressed as a woman, and somebody there broke his arm.
Oh my, but he's like a bodybuilder.
I know, he doesn't look anything, he's got a beard down to here. So they probably thought he was making fun of them or something. He's just out there. He's like the Andy Kaufman of Kazakhstan. Andy Kaufmanskaya. God bless him. Yes, and we need people like that, like Yuri Tolochko. All right, let's get to one or two more items of Greeley Crimes Old Times, and then I think maybe we'll do either the Limerick or the pun.
Sean,
yeah.
Everybody, people are logging in for Sean.
Well, Sean Altman is due in just a couple of minutes. I'll let you know when he arrives. It'll be really great to have him in the
looking
day.
Forward to. I'd like to have more friends like LinkedIn.
Now, by the way, hon, this was not me. This story is not about me. Police responded to 18th Avenue, where a caller reported a man walking down the street screaming obscenities.
Yeah.
I told you this wasn't about me. The caller didn't know the man, but said the guy stopped in front of his house for several minutes and was yelling at the house.
Well, sometimes you have to, David. Sometimes houses are just not right.
Sometimes the numbers set you off, the mailbox.
I think the man needs to go to the Jersey Distribution Center.
That's right.
He rehomed.
Oh, man. Now, this story, sometimes things just strike me funny. This isn't funny per se, but if you think about the actual scene, I think it's hysterical. So this is also not old times, this is new. A caller at a drive-through restaurant on 8th Avenue reported a Jeep with its hazards going off that was honking the entire time he went through the drive-through.
Oh, wow.
I don't know why I find that. I just love the idea of some guy sitting there, like, ordering food.
Like, I'd like number one. One.
The hazard's going. Meh, meh. It'll be just a moment, sir. Meh, meh, meh. Whoop, whoop. Oh. And literally, from the time he gets there through the whole time he drives through, like the car just not stopping. I just kind of love that image. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
I miss the Thai place.
And the Thai place in Greeley. Which one was that?
Remember the place we used to go to on? It was near the fast food restaurant. There was a Thai place. There was a I don't know, the other Mexican restaurant there. A bank.
Wow.
Across from the university, and you go. It was like a fast food pad Thai.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Get your own drink.
We used to do that at the
and they had
Chipotle.
a card. We put the card in Taiwan. Remember?
Yes, I'm so sorry. That's right, of course. Because half the time I get Japanese there instead or something. Yeah, I like that place. Oh my God. I hope they're still there. Okay, last item of Greeley Crimes and Old Times for this Saturday. Oh, how perfect timing, because our guest has arrived in the waiting room, so we'll get to him in a moment. So, for the first time in Colorado Springs, this is back in 1920, women who own businesses will be allowed to join the Chamber of Commerce. The decision comes from the fact that women now have equal political rights as men. And that's the one thing that always gets to me. It's sort of like, women got the right to vote in like the 19-teens and 20s and, all over America. Fantastic, absolutely basic human rights. It's great. But you would figure with women voting that we would have had better politicians. That, in my lifetime, we've had so many terrible presidents. Why? Women are supposed to be so much more, humane and rational and, thoughtful. Why? How come the politicians have gotten significantly worse in the last 100 years since women have been voting? I don't even, maybe we should, I don't know, other species, but all right. Joyce doesn't like my joke. I'll do another one then. Here we go. 3 patrols of Boy Scouts were formed in Milliken this week. This is 100 years ago. The main project for the Scouts at this time is centered on what?
Raccoon abatement.
No, that'd be good. This is 100 years ago.
Cheeseburger.
No, the most important art of...
reconstructing Hamilton.
Yeah. No, not tying.
Oh, nice.
They needed 3 patrols of Boy Scouts in Milliken, Colorado, to learn how to tie knots.
That's exciting.
Yeah. That, my friends, is Greeley Crimes and Old Times for this Saturday morning, December 26th.
Mr. Horace Greeley was no fool. I'm sure that you'll agree with me that Greeley was no fool.
But he is getting news that Mr. Greeley was no fool.
Yippee-yi, 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 yi-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi.
You're watching the Dave's Gone By Facebookio Podcastio Programmio of the stream. The person that we're about to have in the Daverhood talking to Rabbi Sol Solomon is an old friend of the Daverhood and of Rabbi Sol Solomon. We will explain. He is a brilliant musician. He's also a very funny musician as well. He's Sean Altman, who is also sometimes under the persona of Jumongous. And one of those great songs that he does as in the persona of Jumongous is Today I Am a Man. Thank goodness it's not about abysses. We won't be showing any of that. But let's hear some Sean Altman as Jumongous, Today I Am a Man, and he will be interviewed momentarily by Rabbi Sol Solomon.
My parents were very progressive. The theme of my bar mitzvah was S&M. And I did my entire Haftorah with a gag ball. The rabbi, who was wearing a little leather codpiece, when I would make a mistake on the Haftorah, he would swat my ass with a whip. It was all in good fun. But this song talks about the irony of being 13 years old and being called a man. So here we go. I've got 2 pubic hairs and a 3-piece suit. Today I am a man. I'm getting bar mitzvah just to make some loot. Today I am a man. All whacked out on Percocet. Dad's back from Reno with a slutty brunette. And here comes Uncle Saul smelling like a fat old fruit. Today I am a man. A bunch of old white guys $30,000 on this crummy shebang. Today I am a man. At least I'll get to slow dance with Emily. I wish she was an 8 inches taller than me. Now there's a grown-up feeling coming from my wine. Today I am a man. I'm a man who can drink or both. My voice cracks with every note. I'm a man. That's what the rabbi said. I'm a man who still wears the bed.
Now I see you. Oh.
Parents, friends gave me long-term bonds. Today I am a man. By the time they mature, I'll be dead and gone. Today I am a man. So I'll trade him for a hooker with a big, huge chest. She can help me study for my algebra test. So it's a coming of age for me and my schwans. Today I am a man with the powers God granted all men. Whenever I want, I can stay up till 10. I've got loads of flowers just starting to bloom.
Stop touching your penis and go clean your rooms.
Where's my beard? I wonder if I'm queer. That's what the rabbi said. I'm a man who still wears today.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I feel like a man myself today when I get to talk to such talented, wonderful people as our guest in the Daverhood. I myself am Rabbi Sol Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York, and I am thrilled and delighted to have with me in the Daverhood a man. Let me tell you a little bit about this fellow, who, by the way, was our guest in the Daverhood back in December of 2011. He is the co-founder of the a cappella group Rockapella, where he co-wrote with David Yazbek, who is now a big Broadway guy, the theme for Where in the World is Carmen, Sandiego. He's also in the band Groove Barbers. Oh, are you playing under me, or are you getting something ready there? Or hold on,
I was playing under you.
Oh, please. And I had many women play under me. It's more fun. By the way, your setup looks absolutely gorgeous there. He's also in the Groove Barbers. He created Humongous. You can even hear 2 of his songs on a cappella Treasury Shabbos. What a beautiful thing. The Village Voice has called Sean Altman an absurdly talented performer, a power pop mensch, and an aspiring teen cult leader, which is a very wonderful thing to be. Ladies and gentlemen, and I am very specially honored to have Mr. Altman back in the Daverhood because he was kind enough. He volunteered, well, I volunteered him, but I begged him. I said, Sean, I'm doing a show live off Broadway at the Richmond Shepherd Theater. Could you kindly do a song or 2 open for me? And he did. He was wonderful. The audience loved him so much that a person who saw the show said, you really shouldn't have him back again to do this because he's better than you. And it makes you look bad. So we got rid of you very quickly, but for 1 or 2 nights, you absolutely just brought the house down, and we know you will do it again today. Shalom, Sean, how are you?
I'm very well. Very nice to see you, Rabbi.
Very nice to see you. You look great. How are you?
Thank you very much.
How are you and your wife? How's your family feeling?
Everyone is okay. Thank you very much. We're holed up, hunkered down in Harlem, New York City.
Oh.
And
so Being
And
Jewish, you're not afraid of Schwarzes. This is amazing to me.
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay. Now I thought I'd get more comic mileage like that, but we'll move forward. So here's the deal. How have you been since you're a musician? And your wife is a musician. She's an opera singer, especially. 9 months, there's no place to perform. There's no concerts. There's no. What do you do? How do you keep yourself from going to Michigan?
We continuously rob 3 different bodegas in the neighborhood, and so far they haven't caught us.
Really?
So, no, we've managed to figure out strange ways to make money. In this little room, which is my home office studio, I've been doing lots of programming and lots of performing virtual things. Done a lot of kind of Zoom concert things, and I've done Shawnograms, which are virtual home serenades for people on video, hundreds of them.
So, so someone will like almost like a private concert. They'll say, "Can you do what? 45 minutes of a?" How does that work? Like the Shawnogram? What do you get when you pay?
A Shawnogram. Well, so like you would call me up and you say, "I want to send a Shawnogram of the song. All I have to do is dream to my sister for this event, you know." And I make the video and I address her and I say, "This is from the rabbi to you," and people love it. So I've done hundreds and hundreds of those. So that's been a nice income stream. And now actually I'm on your show to promote my Jumongous virtual concert, which is called Hanukkah. Damn, just missed it. Which is going to be streaming.
Your timing is not great on that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It actually came out after Hanukkah.
Yeah.
So, but it's going to be streaming through New Year's, and it's a full comedy song concert with a lot of special guests.
Well, first of all, how can people watch it? Sean Altman or what?
Well, if you go on Facebook, you can there's a ticket link under my Sean Altman Facebook page or under Jumongous. If you go to Jumongous, JEWMONGOUS.
Right.
If you go to Jumongous's Facebook page, you'll see relentless advertising by me about how to buy tickets.
Well, that's wonderful. I mean, you got to do it. You've got to make a little somehow. That's what I'm. And by the way, you also mentioned all I have to do is dream. Aren't you also part of a thing involving the Everly brothers?
Yes, I am part of a. Here, let's see.
Nice shorts. Yeah, don't feel you have to dress up.
I'm part of an Everly Brothers tribute act called the Everly Set.
Tribute to Everly Brothers.
And we're really that's been my main gig for a couple of years now. We tour all over the country, and now. We had 50 or 60 gigs postponed, so it's been tough. But we've been doing Everly Grams, and all those gigs, thankfully, were not canceled; they were postponed. So it looks like
actual dates for when there's like late 2021, 2020, or they still have them in abeyance.
So because there were these tours that were set up to play in theaters all over the Midwest, and that audience still wants to hear us, which is great.
No, but I'm saying,
in the meantime, we've also developed we've developed a Simon and Garfunkel tribute act called Forever Simon and Garfunkel.
Okay, you could have been a little more creative with that one. You could say sound, not silence, or something. That would be kind of a thing. Feeling groovy would be another possibility, but no. Okay.
We were going to call it. The best name would have been The Whores on 7th Avenue, which is one of my favorite Simon and Garfunkel lyric.
Yeah. Well, you're telling the truth. You don't lie. lie. I'm sorry. Anywho, by the way,
how have you been?
But I did want to ask. The question is, you said they're not canceled; they're postponed. But do you have actual dates when they're happening, or you're still saying it will be sometime in 2021, 22?
No, most of them. Most of them. They're actual dates now. So it looks like late 21 and 22 will be. I'll have a career again.
Here's another thing, because I'm Jewish, so money's very important to me. Let me ask you, for years, you were on television, you were in Rockapella, you wrote with David Yazbek, the Carmen Sandiego. Oh, sure, you're turning your back on me. Oh, he's all ready. I love this. I love this. He's always got something. Let's see, what is this?
Oh, no, this is the cast of Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego.
Look, where are you? Show your face.
That's me.
Oh, yeah, you are. The braids.
That's me 30 years ago.
Wow.
With no wrinkles and just, you know, full of expectation about how great life was going to be. It's really shocking to see now.
Magic and but here's a couple of different questions about it. First of all, the braids were fake, right? You just put on the hat.
No, the braids are real.
You had braids?
Yeah. Hang on 1 second. Wait. Not only that. Wait. I think I can even.
I'm so glad we're doing video on this. Here we go.
I literally have the braids.
Oh my God! A young Orthodox kid's first payas. Let me see this.
These are these were actually, this is my real hair cut from my head in 1995.
Wow.
There's 50 of them. I'm gonna in fact, I'm gonna make the announcement here right now. I'm gonna start selling them. That's how bad. This is like when Bjorn Borg sold his Wimbledon trophies when he went bankrupt, or like Johnny Depp was trying to sell his Oscars.
Oh God! Well, no. First of all, I'm glad that this is only visual and not smell.
See, the good thing about this is that with one of these braids, not only do you get bragging rights that you own a piece of children's television history.
Yes.
You can attempt to clone me.
Right.
This is my DNA.
Clonapella.
There you go.
You could create a whole array of the Shonkestra, an altastra, if you will. But that's.
It smells pretty. It smells perfectly fine.
I'm sure. No, I was just joking. I'm sure you shampooed at some point, but or a little shot of Febreze. We'll take that. Right. But here's a question, though, and I apologize for even asking this. But on television, the rights to that song, I'm sure that show is in syndication all over the world still. Why aren't you, not independently wealthy, comfortable just from doing that show? Why not? I don't understand.
Because it was PBS, and PBS doesn't pay the same as network stuff. If that had been, if a theme song, which I co-wrote, of that popularity, if it had been a network theme song, then I think I probably would have made, I don't know, a lot more money. But you know, that song is still, the song has done very well for me. Mostly because people attempt to use it without permission, and then they have to pay me more afterwards.
Okay. Well, whatever works. So you still
got a great Jewish lawyer. He goes after them.
Yes. and a Jewish mobster behind him. That's the combination. The lawyer, very important, very smart, whatever. But that lawyer has to be backed by like someone, a Dutch Schultz.
Yeah, you got to have some muscle.
Yeah, you do. Well, anyway, let's move away from that. I was speaking of things that you wrote for. I don't know how this happened, but you wrote a song or two or three or something for a TV show called Brickleberry. Is that true?
Yes.
Brickleberry.
How did you know? Wow. Yeah, I wrote 2 or 3 songs for Brickleberry. One was called like something about friendship, and the other one was I think it was a cover of there was something called like We Like to Sing a cappella. Yeah. I could probably find these. Do you want to hear them? Wait, how do you know?
Right, so you can, or you can sing. No, the reason I'm asking is that people see you as this very personable, almost G-rated persona, doing Everly Brothers songs and things like that. And then the Humongous goes a little. But Brickleberry, this is a person who was trying to take Family Guy to the next level of outrageous, rude, and disgusting. Because they did the PD show after that.
Wait.
PD.
I'm thinking of, let's see. Yeah, I remember the name Brickleberry, and I know I wrote something for them, but I just don't remember what it was.
I'm thinking of something else, because those sounded very tame.
Yeah, they sound,
Brickleberry, yeah.
Do you remember what I wrote for Brickleberry?
No, I've never seen Brickleberry. I've seen Paradise PD. I want to see Brickleberry. I shouldn't have asked.
Now it makes me want to like look on my computer and see what I wrote for them.
What was it? And also my problem is it's Shabbos, so I can't watch. But after Shabbos, I perhaps will. So
it's okay to use your electronics on Shabbos the way you are, but not watch anything.
I'm Shabbos goys who come and go. You know, I do sexual favors for them, and they help me out. But well, no, they're lovely women. But here's the question for you. One thing I am surprised, after the Rockabella thing, you wanted to be a solo artist and stuff, but did you ever try and go the Broadway route? Because you are a fine musician and a singer, you can act. Why did you even try for that?
You know what, even though I always, some of my happiest childhood memories are listening to the Fiddler on the Roof original Broadway cast album again and again.
Of course, yes.
I never had the, I never had the Broadway bug. I guess at this point in my life, the idea of going in every night and singing like one or two songs, that's kind of appealing. Like having a steady gig where I could still live at home, because I'm on the road a lot. But I never auditioned for anything. I'm grateful that you said that I can act, but I don't really consider myself an actor. I basically, everything I've ever done, I've played myself. So I don't really think that's acting.
Like? Yeah.
I mean, Carmen Sandiego, basically, we were goofing around for the camera.
Yeah. Well, I was just curious about that, because I saw that as a road that would have been pretty obvious for you, but you just so no regrets. I mean, you've had a very interesting life over the last 30 years since Rockabella. You've gotten the main thing is
Thank you.
You're not making.
Thank you for talking about my life. Thank you for talking about my life as if it's over and I'm dead.
We're all going to die of this pandemic. You know, I've got a few more episodes of the show before I kick it.
You've had a really good life, Sean. Now it's time to hang it up. Okay.
Well, I mean, was that a good decision because you get to do what you want to. You get to tour and you get to make albums and make music. That sounds pretty damn good overall. Am I right?
You know, so far I'm amazingly grateful that I've been able to do just this thing. I do have like 9 different projects. Like there's no one of them that pays all the bills. So it is it's a hustle.
Well,
I'm sure you know, this is, being a musician is a hustle. It's like I'm a tailor, I don't own the factory. I got to make each suit to get paid.
I have to stand on 8th Avenue and 42nd Street hustling. And a pandemic is not easy.
Those hand jobs are hard on the wrist. I
can't even. I would call it a mezuzah job. And bringing them to the mitzvah van around the corner. Please, you don't know. But I don't know where I'm going with that. First of all, while we still have time, did you prepare any music to sing or play for us? Do you want to?
I have my guitar here, and I'm prepared to sing something.
Well, you know what? It's the holidays. And we just missed Festivus. And of course, Hanukkah, we're really late for, but you've got a concert happening for that. So let's hear a little of what you would get if you hire Sean Altman for a Shaunogram or to watch this Hanukkah concert. Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, so
or anything you want to play. I don't care.
So it's because Hanukkah is over, and also even when I put out the show, Hanukkah was already over. Thus the name Hanukkah. Damn, just missed it. It's a bunch of it's all original comedy songs, and I have 12 cameos from people like David Yazbek, in fact, and other really funny people like Cynthia Kaplan.
Did you a cameo from me, Rabbi Sol Solomon?
You know what? You and I hadn't been in touch in a really long time, and I'm sorry that.
Whose fault is that? Why you're blaming me now? Play your song.
But we can do. This is one of the few songs that the Humongous set that I can play for G-rated audiences.
Oh, it can be.
We were slaves to Pharaoh in Egypt. The year was 1492. Hitler had just invaded Yonkers. Madonna had just become a Jew. Moses was found on the Potomac. Then he marched with Martin Luther King. He came back to free us from our bondage, 'cause S&M has never been our thing. When they tried to kill us, we survived. Let's eat eat. They tried to kill us, we were faster on our feet. So they chased us to the border, there's a parting of the water. Tried to kill us, we survived, let's eat.
Let's eat.
Then the Pharaoh, who looked like Yul Brynner, heard the Jews were trying to escape. Charlton Heston came right down from the mountain. He said, Pharaoh, you're a damn dirty ape. The menorah was almost out of oil. Farrakhan was planning Crystal Nacht. The gefilte was nearing extinction. It looked like Moses and his flock were verkackt. They tried to kill us, we survived, let's eat.
Let's eat.
They tried to kill us, we were faster on our feet. But we knew how to resist, cause we'd read Dick Schindler's List. Tried to kill us, we survived, let's eat.
Let's eat.
And God smote the Egyptians with 10 deadly plagues. Rabbi, you yell out the numbers, I'll say the plagues. Let me hear you say 1.
1,
Blood,
2,
locusts,
3,
boils,
4,
dandruff,
5,
acne,
6,
back knee,
7,
sciatica,
8.
indigestion,
I've got that. 9,
cataracts,
10.
retail. We fled on foot, there was no time to tarry. Leavening the bread would take too long. All we had was egg foo young and matzah, while battling the fearsome Viet Cong. And so tonight we gather to remember the ancient Hebrews who paid the price. We have a Seder each year in December to commemorate our Savior Jesus Christ. That's what it says on Wikipedia. So, if it says on Wikipedia, it must be true. They tried to kill us, we survived, let's eat. They tried to kill us, we were faster on our feet. But we never did succumb to the annual pogrom. Tried to kill us, we survived, let's eat. They tried to kill us, we survived, let's eat. They tried to kill us, we were faster on our feet. So come on, blow the shofar, cause they haven't nailed us so far. Tried to kill us, we survived, let's eat. Let's eat. Oh, Rabbi, when you were doing the shimmy, you looked just like Zero Mostel as Tevye. It was beautiful.
Oh, thank you, man.
I got all choked up.
You know what? I got all choked seeing the talent and the humor and the comedy and the wit of this. So now, everybody, are you going to, well, don't leave my Facebook page right now, but at the end of this program, go find Sean Altman's Facebook page. It's Jewmongus, JEWMONGOUS on Facebook. Or don't you have just Sean Altman on Facebook?
Yeah, Sean Altman.
We'll both bring you to.
And
yeah.
I also like to mention that I have 2 Jewmongus albums. The first one is called Taller Than Jesus. That's me, that's Jesus. That's the earliest known color photograph of Jesus.
He looks good.
And as you can tell, I'm not just making it up. I'm substantially taller than he is.
You know, he does look better than he does on that towel, I have to say.
Yes. And then my more recent album is called The Least Jewy Jew in Jewville.
Oh, I haven't heard that. Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, but it's got a lot. It's got Phantom Foreskin, Blame the Jews, Reuben the Hook-Nosed Reindeer, The Least Jewy Jew in Jewville, Tough Motherfucker with an Eye Patch, which is my ode to famous Israeli Defense Minister Moshe Dayan.
Yes, dear to my heart. And by the way, we should also mention that as wonderful as all this Jewmongus thing, you're talking to a rabbi, feel free that Sean Altman has another persona. Even still, he's writing humorous songs, so not necessarily of a Hebraical bent, but serious and humorous songs. Your last album, I think, was Salt. How old was?
Yes,
when was that?
Salt. Let's see. I must have a copy around here somewhere. Ah, there it is. Yeah, I've been pretty busy. Well, here, I'll bring some stuff over.
It's actually a shame Salt wasn't a collaboration with the Spice Girls, if you think about it. And I think about that.
No, actually, I think it's the best of my solo albums.
Oh,
because it's you know, I mean, I do fancy myself a good songwriter, besides the fact that I like to make Jewish jokes. But yes, in fact, if you go to I have a CD store. It's on the Square. The thing is, I don't know. I don't know what the URL is.
well, how do people? Is there a link on your Facebook page, or is there a link on your website that people can jump to the store?
Yes.
Yeah, there you
Yes.
go. Simple, simple.
Yes. And the Everly set has a double album out of Everly Brothers songs. And then I've just, you know, I'm always working and recording, which is nice. And
you're still making hard.
and if not for the pandemic and the, you know, and the fear of imminent death, everything would be okay.
That's basically the Jewish mindset right there. At any time is the fear of death and fear of pandemic, but we go on. What can hey?
You know,
ask you.
I just want to point out that
Yeah.
that I'm smiling. One of the reasons I'm smiling so much is because your payas, there's like a turgidity to them. They're like erect. Like they're not flowing. They're just like bing.
Well, this one doesn't get erect anymore, so I have to rely on these. You know, I see a pretty girl is like, oh, hello, shalom. Come back to my place. But let me ask you a couple of things. And one is, if you've been reading about, for a while now, Neil Young has been very protective about his music. He doesn't like Donald Trump using his songs. One Rockin' in the Free World. There's another one which has nothing to do with politics.
Yeah.
He was using it for campaigning, and people have complained that this politician uses their song without their permission. They don't want it. They don't like it. You did that with Rand Paul. And
Yeah.
So what the hell happened with Rand Paul wanted to use one of your songs, and you're like, no?
Well, he didn't ask.
Yeah.
I just woke up one morning and someone sent me a link to an entire song and animated video called "Where in the World is Stacey Abrams?" And he was it was basically a full-length attack ad against Stacey Abrams. This is while she was running for governor, and my fancy Jewish lawyer went after Rand Paul, and we got some good national press out of that. Like Rolling Stone wrote an article, and
if he had paid, if he had just paid whatever ASCAP or BMI or whatever you're connected to, would you have just let that go? So was it about politics for you, or just, hey, he should have paid for permission to use this, or whether you agreed with him politically or not?
Well, for something like that, you can't just pay ASCAP or BMI. You have when you put someone else's music, when you set it to a motion picture, you have to get permission and you have to negotiate a deal. So there wouldn't have been a way for him to do it without getting my permission, and I would not have granted him permission.
Or what if you wanted to use your song at rallies, if that was his come onto the stage music, and he paid?
No, I that's the thing. I can take a bold political stance, but I guess it's possible that if you're paying me a huge amount of money, I'd be like, okay, this guy's not going anywhere anyway. but yeah, for on pure politics, I would not have granted him permission. But I was very happy to.
But you reduce for the right price. For if he paid you enough money, if Hitler.
Well, that's the thing.
For a really big check.
It's not that I wouldn't. It's not that I wouldn't let Rand Paul license my song. It's that I wouldn't let Rand Paul license it to attack Stacey Abrams. If Rand Paul wanted to use the song, because he was doing something great in his state. I don't even know what state he's. What is he? What is Rand Paul? No, I forgot what state he's in.
Guam, I think.
Yeah, but if it was something that didn't have to do with with attacking Stacey Abrams, I would have licensed it.
By the way, we have just, first of all, you are, I hope, staying for the quiz with Dave and David Sheward, the trivia quiz.
Yeah. So I want to make sure I don't embarrass myself. Are these topics that I'm going to understand?
Well, first of all, I wear a diaper so I don't embarrass myself.
Okay, but it's not going to be like
It's general
it's not going
trivia.
to be quotes from the Talmud.
Some of them will be quotes from the time, but mostly it's generalized trivia. Some of the questions are harder than others. You shouldn't be afraid because sometimes the guests come on and they get nothing right at all, or sometimes 2 or 4 points. Yeah. And well, Dave will explain the rules when he comes on in just a couple of moments with David.
Okay.
But don't be afraid. It's all in fun. There's no prizes, alas, because I know I can see how much you need money now. But before you are almost, and you do not look it, but you are almost 60 years old.
Whoa.
Mazel, am I right about this?
You had to say that. You had to.
Well, first of all, you look 40.
Rabbi poo-poo.
Toy, you look amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
You feel any different than you did when you were 30, 40, 25?
Yes. Hair dye is expensive.
Are you joking, or do you have to do that?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. I have no, I dye my hair pretty often. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You feel?
I don't even. That's the thing. I've been dyeing it since the first gray hair that appeared, 15 years ago. So I don't even know how gray I am because I never let it grow in. So for all I know, I could be completely white-haired.
But here's the deal: if you weren't doing media as a musician, if you weren't touring, would you do it? If you were just a person, or is it specifically because it's an industry and you want to appear younger, blah blah?
It's hard to know. My career is so much a part of my identity for even that I don't like okay, if when I go 5 days and I'm unshaven and my beard grows in and it's mostly white, it really upsets me and I immediately shave.
Wow.
So that's just for me. So yeah, I mean, I guess it's I joke with my friends, I want people to walk past me and go like, oh, good looking corpse.
I gotta say, I mean, I still have these are getting stiffer. My pubes are like willow at this point. It's a thing. So
he's getting a lot of hope from the women viewers.
By the way, the lady viewers of this program right now are giving you hearts. So you're lovely.
Oh, they're very kind.
One who performs as a nun.
Well, there's a woman who performs as a nun professionally, as a comedy nun. She's giving you like hearts and flowers. So they better treat you right.
The Shiksas always like me. I don't know what it is. It's because of the myth of the good Jewish husband.
It's a total myth, isn't it? But anyway, anywho.
It is a myth. You can ask my first wife, who is a Shiksa.
Yeah, why did that go so sour? I'm just curious, because you've been very happy with what is her name of the opera singer? What's her name again?
Ina Dukach.
Ina Dukach.
Yes, she makes several appearances in Humongous' special.
Yeah, but were you just too young to get married the first time, or do you not want to say?
I was 30. I was 35.
Oh, so were you terrible to her, or is she terrible to you, or mutual, or is she cheating on you? I think that was the thing.
I just think that neither of us really knew what it meant to be married at the time.
Yeah. So you weren't ready to be tortured, even though you were Jewish. Yeah. It's amazing. Anywho, I'll take you away. But why don't you take us out of this segment with a little more music?
Oh, yes.
Bring in Dave, and we'll bring in David Sheward, and we'll begin the Today Yesterday quiz. But I want to remind people that we're with Sean Altman. Go to his Facebook page, which is either Sean Altman or Humongous, and order either a Seanagram or what's the other thing? It was the special called or
then my Everly Brothers duo does Everlygrams, and we're great. I have to say, we're really good. I mean, I always love performing by myself, but performing those amazing early rock songs with this guy, Jack Sculler, also Jew. No, we're good. I mean, I have to say, of all the acts I've been a part of, I think Rockapella was great, and I think I've done some great solo stuff. But this Everly Brothers act, I think we really nail it. I don't know what to say.
By the way, we just got the word from the nun that all nuns are married to a Jewish man. So there you go. I get it. So,
I'm trying to
Sean,
think of. I'm trying to think of a song that I could sing. Wait, without looking at the chords. Give me 1 second.
absolutely. I will take this moment to thank once again, even though he's staying with us, Sean
This is good.
Altman.
I'll sing my Christmas song. Wait.
There's that word again. It makes my ears burn.
Wait, where the hell is it?
And my heart burn a little bit, but that's normal.
Where the hell is it?
This is good television right here.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
I think this will work. I hope this is going to work.
Sean,
Oh,
ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sean with his capo. Altman.
All right, so I just want to preface this song by saying that I'm going to give you a list of songs which are arguably the greatest Christian holiday songs ever written, and every single one of these songs was written or co-written by a Jew. There's no place like home for the holidays. Winter Wonderland. It's the most wonderful time of the year. White Christmas. Silver Bells. We Need a Little Christmas. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Rocking Around the Christmas Tree. A Holly Jolly Christmas. The Christmas Song. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Sleigh Ride, Santa Baby, Let It Snow, I'll Be Home for Christmas. I mean, the list goes on. All songs written or co-written by Jews. And with that, I give you another song co-written by a Jew about Santa's most dutiful reindeer. In all the songs of Christmas passed down from days of old, the tale of the unsung reindeer is the one that... I don't think I'm ready to play this. I don't think I'm ready to...
It belongs on the end of a Beatles album. What? Yeah. Let's try that again.
The tale of the unsung reindeer is the one that's yet untold. You've heard of Dasher, you've heard of Dancer, you've heard of Prancer and Vixen too. But there's a reindeer you haven't heard of yet. It's a secret, 'cause he's a Jew. You've heard of Comet and Cupid and Donner and Blitzen and Rudolph and how he glows. But not Reuben, who they're all ashamed of him. He's the reindeer with the big hook nose. He's Reuben, the hook-nosed reindeer, with his bulbous Semitic beak. Cooks blintzes for Blitzen, does Santa's taxes, cleans his hooves every week. He's Reuben, the hook-nosed reindeer, but the gig is taking its toll, 'cause it's a fix to finagle, a lox and bagel up at the North Pole. He checks the oil, rotates the tires, wraps the presents, and packs the sleigh. He reads the road map, rewinds the Streisand tape. He packs a thermos of consommé. He gets a separate receipt for the milk and for the meat, pays wholesale for all the toys. As you can plainly see, he's Santa's MVP, and Santa is his Shabbos goy. He's Reuben, the hook-nosed reindeer, with his giant misshapen snout. Thinks Comet's a Prancer, Cupid's a Yenta, and Rudolph's a Nazi crowd. He's Reuben, the hook-nosed reindeer. He took the fortune, but not the fame. Went to yeshiva, won't chase beaver. Mahjong is his reindeer game. Should I continue?
One more. I want to bring in our guest.
Okay.
So play us through while I admit our guest of the Daverhood, David Sheward, to play the trivia. But please continue.
Okay. Oh, this is the bridge. Just like a slave enthralled to Pharaoh, he toils all night in the snow. Come on, Santa, hear our plea. Let my reindeer go. He's Reuben the hook-nosed reindeer with his veiny, relentless schnoz. Got a poster of Bambi up in his locker and panties from Mrs. Claus. He's Reuben the hook-nosed reindeer. He's kosher and playing it safe. The elves put their dicks in, Prancer and Vixen, but he won't because they're trafe. No, he won't because they're trafe. Reuben! Thank you very much.
Oh my gosh. That, ladies and gentlemen, is Sean Altman. He is, of course, excuse me, co-founder of Rockapella, former member of the Groove Barbers, also a member of the Everly, what are they, the Everly?
Oh, the Everly set. Oh, I'm still a member of the Groove Barbers. We're just on, we're on COVID hiatus.
Gotcha. And the Everly set, right?
The Everly set, yes.
And as well, you didn't, I was listening when you were talking to the rabbi before, you didn't mention again the name of the late for Hanukkah show that you want people to.
Oh, okay. It's called my holiday show, which is, it streams through New Year's, is called Hanukkah. Damn, just missed it. And it's you can find it on Facebook. If you go to Facebook and look up Jewmongous, JEWMONGOUS. I'm advertising it like crazy.
Well, for obvious reasons, everybody.
Like, it's almost embarrassing at this point how much I'm advertising it.
You gotta do it. You gotta, This is what we have to do. I'm thrilled that you're doing it. And obviously, folks, if you heard him do the 2 live songs that Sean Altman did so far in the program, we played a song before he came on, you can tell why this would be a fantastic use of your time and money is to watch that Hanukkah show. But right now, we're going to waste some of Sean's time and some time of David Sheward, our weekly friend, excuse me, friend of the Daverhood. By the way, I want to let you know, David, Leslie begged off. She texted a while ago, so she won't be with us. But
okay.
David, by the way, David Sheward is a writer. He is the former president of the Drama Desk. You can read his writings at davidsays.com.
David Desk.
Yeah, daviddesk.com. I'm sorry. Cultural Weekly and theaterlife.com. Yes, I got them. I got those right.
That's right.
And so, first of all, David, welcome. Of course, every week we say this. Welcome to the Daverhood. How was your, Rabbi Sol hates this word, but I'll ask it. How was your Christmas?
It was fine. It was fine. My husband and I we stayed home and didn't go out. And we had several Zoom calls like this to relatives and friends and families. We had 3 separate Zoom sessions during the course of the day.
Well, lovely. I mean, that's what you do. Did you get anything nice under the Christmas tree?
Oh, well, I did get, I should have brought it with me because I knew you would ask. It's in the other room. Let me just get it.
Right. Does it involve, I don't know, a certain variety show comedian?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You must have seen my
on Facebook. Yeah.
My Facebook post. This is a Carol's Lost Christmas episode.
Ooh.
3 episodes from well, it's very interesting. The Carol Burnett show was on for 11 years. And the first 5 years, actually the last 5 years were in syndication while the show was still on, because a different company owned the rights to the first 5 years. And for the longest time, no one had any access to them. And then finally, some of the rights loosened up and we were able to get on DVDs and videos. And you can see them on Amazon, but they're all cut up on Amazon. But these are the complete three episodes from 1967, 68, and 69.
Oh, so they're in color. Did they
Yes.
feel? Yeah. Oh, excellent.
All of her shows were in color, yes.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. Are you going to save that for New Year's Eve and watch that?
I watched them all on Christmas Day.
Oh, you just went through them already.
Yeah.
See, binging on TV. That's what we're all doing all over the world for the past 9 months, I got to tell you. But and everybody's healthy, right? David?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank goodness. So I haven't told Sean Altman, our guest in the Daverhood, the rules, as it were, for the game that we play every week. It's called Today, Yesterday. And it's pretty simple. It's a trivia game. There are 10 questions, and every question is about something that happened in history on this date. So everything we're going to ask about happened on December 26th, sometime in history. Isn't that cool?
Very
Man. Okay.
So, and it's pretty, I always forget to do, forgive me, it's time for the roll a die. So here's the deal.
Sort of a digital dreidel, right?
I should use a dreidel, you're right. What I'm going to ask is, since he is our guest today, I'm going to ask you to go first, Sean, in this. Can you pick a number, please, from 1 to 6?
4.
4 is Sean's number, okay.
Is that right?
I'm sorry?
Did I get it right?
Oh, we don't know yet. I haven't rolled the die yet.
Yes, 4 is a number between 1 and 6.
4 is a numeral. It's very good.
That's correct.
And it's a whole number. Well done, Sean. You're already ahead of some of our other players. So, David, could you kindly pick a number?
3.
So David Sheward is 3. What I'm going to do, Sean, just so you know, is I'm going to go to a digital die rolling website, roll a die. The die has come up number 2, which means that David Sheward's number 3 is closer to number 2. So David gets the opportunity to say whether he wants to go first or second in terms of questions.
I will go first.
So Dave will go first, and Sean, no offense, you will get to go second in the questioning. And the way it works, Sean, very simple. Each question is worth 2 points. If you get it wrong, there's no penalty, but the other person, in this case David, gets to steal if you get it wrong and get the 2 points. Okay?
Got it.
So each person gets 3 questions, and then there's a tiebreaker. Ready? Ready, guys?
Yes.
Here we go.
Here we go.
The year, and you guys remember this well, 1606. And David, oh my gosh, you get a theater question right off the bat.
Oh, 1606. Okay.
The first performance of this Shakespeare play occurred on St. Stephen's Day in 1606. Scholars have long debated the nature of the play, in which the word nature or its derivatives, like natural and unnatural, occur more than 40 times. Speaking of unnatural, for more than 100 years, Nahum Tate's adaptation of the play held the stage until Edmund Kean went back to the original. Name that play.
Well, it's got to be King Lear, because I believe that Tate's version was totally different, and he gave it a happy ending, and everything was just fine, and everybody lived and got married, and everything was wonderful. And then Kean, I believe Kean very famously restored the original. So, and it's one of the most popular Shakespeare. Every actor of a certain age attempts it. So I will say King Lear.
Is that, though, your final answer?
Yes.
Yes, you should have been leery, Sean, playing against someone like David Sheward. He got it. As soon as I mentioned Edmund Kean, he was like, "Oh yeah."
Oh man.
That's
well. I'm glad that David took that question, because I would not have fared well on that.
Well done, David Sheward. You definitely got that right. It was in fact King Lear.
It was also a very famous Yiddish theater production.
Oh, was it Paul Muni, or who was the?
I think it was Morris Karnofsky did it, and Jacob Adler.
But if only Menashe Skolnick had a crack at it, that would have been a Lear.
I mean, Molly Picon did the transgender one. No, I'm just joking.
Right. Oh,
right.
I have to tell you, in the university where my wife teaches and I was teaching, they did Queen Lear about 4 or 5 years ago. A very, very fine actress, but not the greatest production.
Oh.
And, yeah. Anywho, so David now has 2 points, but Sean, you get to tie the game if you get the second question right. Here we go. And this is a musical question. Actually, this worked out maybe pretty well for you. 1831 is the year. Debuting tonight at La Scala is perhaps the definitive bel canto opera. It's about the title character, a druid high priestess in ancient Rome who's jealous because the man who bore her 2 children is in love with her best friend. For one point, name the composer, and the other, the opera, and no fair getting coaching from your wife, who is an opera singer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's like Robert Klein.
All right, okay. All right.
Oh,
all
I
right,
will
so
read the question again.
You said bel canto.
Yeah.
And you said it's a druid. Oh, God.
I'll
See,
read
that's the problem. If
Yeah.
my wife hasn't played a leading role in the show, then I'm not going to know it, because I don't know anything about opera except as it pertains to her particular roles.
Yeah.
All right.
And the answer is not Carmen Sandiego. It's not.
It's not Lin-Manuel Noriega.
And you said it's 1831, right?
Funny, she doesn't look Jewish. Here we go. It's 1831.
Okay, so that means that says to me that it predates Puccini, so it must be, and it's bel canto.
Correct.
So I'm saying it's going to be a Verdi opera. And that's all I could, let me, and so what happens then?
Well, I'll read the synopsis again. It's about the definitive bel canto opera about a title character, a druid high priestess in ancient Rome, who's jealous because the man who bore her 2 children is in love with her best friend.
Children.
What? Sorry?
Men don't bear children.
Men, well, who helped her bear her 2 children because her children were unbearable.
Was he a
is in
midwife?
love with her best friend. What? Sorry?
What, was he a midwife or something?
Well, no. In other words, he has 2 children with her. Okay, but he's in love with her best friend.
You make it sound like he was a doctor or something.
No, who gave her?
Marcus Welby.
Who implanted sperm into her?
Oh, okay. You got to be specific. Okay.
Yes. Who
Let
egged
me
her
help
on.
you have some children. Here we go.
The man with whom she has 2 children
Got
is
it.
now in love with her best friend. So, for one point, name the composer, and the other the opera.
I'm just gonna, I don't know the name of the opera, but I'm because it's bel canto, I'm gonna say Verdi.
Okay, so one.
Giuseppe Verdi. I think I've got the composer, but I'm not sure.
Sure. Well, but will Verdi be your final answer?
Yes.
For at least 1 point. And do you
Yes.
want to take a stab at a name of an opera?
You know, I don't recognize that plot line, so it's nothing I've seen. So I'm in the dark.
What?
Nixon in China.
Yeah, there we go.
Nixon in China. All right, Nixon in China. We'll go with that. Well, I'm afraid you hit a false note, Sean, in either of those answers. Neither is correct. So, David Sheward, you get to potentially steal the question.
What was that?
In 1831, the definitive bel canto opera about a druid high priestess in Rome who has had 2 babies with a man.
Got it.
He fucked her. Okay, he put the babies into her, and now he's in love with her best friend.
When I tuned in, Sean was singing about reindeers screwing each other, and I thought, what am I listening to? And now you're
actually,
talking
David.
about...
It was elves screwing reindeers.
Oh,
so, which I hope makes it better.
Bestiality, as well as as well as sex. Anyway.
Yes. Well, on this program, I ask the questions, and Sean has the antlers. Yeah, and okay.
Boy,
David, all right.
Mr. Peabody. All right. The answer, my answer to that question is Norma by Bellini.
What makes you say that? What makes you pick that?
Because I believe Norma was a Druid priestess, and my dad's brother's wife, who was Italian, was named for the opera, and her name is Norma.
Wow. So are you going to go with that? Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Bellini.
Well, Rabbi Sol may like blimps, but Dave, you're going to like Bellini's. It is indeed Vincenzo Bellini and his opera Norma. Well done, David Sheward. Oh my
Well
goodness.
done.
So you've got a 4-0 lead, and
I also
coming
wrote an
back.
opera once, you know.
what? Sorry,
I wrote I wrote a parody of an opera.
tell me.
Not just the lyrics, just the concept for the David Desk, which is just a blog I write where if I come up with a silly idea, I can just put it out there. And when, Nixon in China, the opera, I said, well, why not write one about Xi in Mar-a-Lago, the Chinese prime minister visiting Trump. So I wrote a parody of Nixon in China called Xi in Florida.
Go to the David Desk. What's the name of that article so they can find? Is it just Xi or
Xi in Florida?
And XI, is that how it? How does it?
XI in Florida.
In Florida. So you can go to the daviddesk.com and find it right there, along with all his other.
Cool. Actually, let me just see what would happen if I did that.
David's going to Google right now. There we go. Let me remind people you're watching Dave's Gone By. We're doing our Today Yesterday quiz with me, Dave.
Actually, no. You would have to put in the David Desk to get that. But anyway, sorry.
So yeah, go to the daviddesk.com and look.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, he's using the.
Right. I'm sorry, I'm too much of a tangent, but it was just some silly idea I had once that I thought was funny.
Wouldn't it be interesting if she used the pronoun her? I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah.
Thank you very much. It's time for the third question in our Today Yesterday quiz, and this one goes back to David because he just stole your question, Sean. So he gets to answer this question, which happened in 1908.
Okay.
3 cheers for this Galveston giant, who, by beating Canadian Tommy Burns, became the first African-American heavyweight champion of the world. Name him.
Oh, of course, it would be a sports question, of which I know nothing. However, I believe it was, now the play, The Great White Hope, is based on this guy. And Ken Burns did a documentary about him called Unforgivable Blackness. And it's either Jackson or Jefferson. And I forget the character in the play, which was not his real name. It was either Jackson or Jefferson. I think, God, what was his name? I think it's either Jackson or Jefferson. And the play that the part that James Earl Jones played, I'm going to say Jefferson.
Jefferson. And remember, we're talking about the real person, not
the real person, not the play.
Jefferson. Well, David Sheward. I wish you could say you scored a knockout, but that is not the correct answer. So.
Not right. Okay. All right.
Sean Altman gets a chance to steal. The year was 1908. 3 cheers for the Galveston giant, who, by beating Canadian Tommy Burns, became the first African-American heavyweight champion of the world. Can you name him?
I think it is someone named Jack. It's either Jack Jones or Jack Johnson, and I think it's Jack Johnson. So that's what I'm going to go with, because that's all I got.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Well, interesting that you were singing about circumcising Johnsons before, because you are correct. It was Jack Johnson.
Huh.
Well done. Sean, you have already done better than many of our guests.
I would feel better if I had gotten the Bellini thing.
Yeah.
Is the wife not going to talk to you, or is she going to be like, how could you not know it was Bellini?
I feel like I should know the definitive bel canto opera. So.
Yeah, that's what all she's going to sing for the next week and a half is bel canto. Oh, by the way, ask your wife if she knows Stefan Zucker. Just ask her.
I will.
She's never heard of Stefan Zucker. David, I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you.
I was just going to say, Robert Klein, the comedian, was at one time married to an opera singer, Brenda Boozer. And he used to make this joke that my wife sings opera and then she gives the money to me. So that makes me an opera pimp. And then an opera pimp. And then he would do I heard you did Aida Dallas without telling me. Fork it over. You did a little Norma in Delaware without letting me know. I'm not going to stand for that. Get on a plane.
It's
and
really
do
fun.
Carmen
That's a
in
really
Paris.
funny idea.
Don't give me no arguments. You're doing Carmen in Paris. Get on the plane now. Don't argue with me. And you better bring me back the whole fee.
That just sounds like any opera agent.
Oh, Lord.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we have a game, by the way.
You're doing a Roberto Devereaux in Dallas. Don't argue with me.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I'm not arguing with either of you because it's a close game. It's 4-2, David Sheward. And Sean, you have a chance to tie up our today-yesterday game with our next question.
Okay.
Yeah. The year 1913.
Ah, Christ.
That's the answer. The answer is Jesus Christ. No. A letter to his close friend, Blanche Partington, dated, I'll read it again. The year was 1913. A letter to his close friend, Blanche Partington, dated today, is the last known correspondence of this journalist, poet, and Civil War veteran, best known for his darkly psychological short story, An Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge. Name him. This is Sean, by the way. This is a Sean question. 1913 was the year. A letter to his close friend Blanche Partington that was dated today is the last known correspondence of this journalist, poet, and Civil War veteran, best known for the darkly psychological short story, An Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge. Name him. Or as the owl would say, who?
Aren't there any questions about like Wham or Duran Duran?
Well, they go kind of chronologically, so they get later and later along the way.
I'm going to pass this one over to David.
You're not even going to take it?
Because I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea.
Well, we'll go with Wham. Let's see if Wham is the
Okay.
No, it is not, I'm afraid. So David Sheward, you get a chance to steal this question. 1913, last known correspondence of this journalist, poet, and Civil War veteran, best known for the psychological short story An Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge.
Okay, this, I know it's, I think the name Ambrose is in there somewhere. I forget, I don't remember if that's the first or last name, but I believe it's Ambrose, and because there was an episode of The Twilight Zone based on that story, An Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge, and it was the only Twilight Zone episode that Rod Serling did not produce or write or direct or produce. He wrote almost all of them, but this was filmed by somebody else, and Serling liked it so much that he put it on. So I remember seeing it. I remember the name Ambrose. So I think it's Ambrose. Ambrose. My answer is going to be Ambrose. Ambrose.
Right. If it's perfectly fine with Sean, I will give David Sheward 1 point for that answer. Because unlike, if this were Jeopardy, you would actually get no points, because Jeopardy usually wants the last name and just the last name. But you've hit the first name.
I think I know.
Oh, is the last name Pierce or Bierce?
Well, I'm afraid I can't give you credit, but it's Ambrose Bierce with a B.
Oh,
wow.
Well done, by the way, David Sheward, for that 1 point. And yeah, Ambrose Bierce was journalist, and he wrote, he was before like Lovecraft and people like that. He was starting to do into those weird sort of dark, almost supernatural kinds of things. So yeah, and he went off to, I think, either the Mexican-American War or something like that. He just went off to cover something and never came back.
Oh.
So,
Vicky, it was the nun, Sister Vicky said, that's not true. The Twilight Zone had lots of writers.
well, Vicky's saying Twilight Zone had a lot of different writers, but David's saying...
Yes, Serling wrote most of the episodes, but this was the only episode that was totally done outside of the series. And Serling saw the film and he really liked it, and he bought it for the show.
Oh, so it's like he apologized. Yeah, he made a
Yes, Serling did not write every single episode. He wrote most of them.
Yeah. By the way, nice Jewish boy, Rod Serling, Jewish, yay!
Really? All right.
For Sean. Okay, so we go to question number 5. which means that, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So David Sheward, you get the next question
Okay.
first.
Okay.
The year was 1924.
Mm-hmm.
Making her debut. Oh, you'll think this was going to be an easy one.
All right. Go ahead.
Making her debut at age 2.5 is baby Frances,
Aw.
aka Frances Gum,
Okay.
who sang on stage with her 2 sisters at Dad's movie theater in Grand Rapids. Of course, Judy Garland, I'm giving that to you,
Yeah.
would go on to a huge and legendary career, including 10 movies. Huh? Joyce is saying who.
Yeah.
Judy Garland's career would include 10 movies she made with young co-star Mickey Rooney.
Uh-huh.
Which of these is a title of a film featuring these 2? This is a multiple choice.
Okay.
So
Okay.
one of these is an actual Mickey and Judy film.
Is. Okay. The other 2, how many? What? It's 4 or 3?
Four of them.
So
One
which
of
one
these
is an actual title?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is
Go ahead.
A, Storm in a Teacup. B, Thoroughbreds Don't Cry.
Aw.
C, A Song for Andy Hardy. D, A Girl for Andy Hardy.
How about Babes in Armenia? And that was on the Carol Burnett show.
Babes are-
It's all connected.
I'll read the
Okay.
once again. One of these is an actual film
Okay.
title featuring Mickey and Judy.
Okay.
Is it A, Storm in a Teacup? B, Thoroughbreds Don't Cry. C, A Song for Andy Hardy. D, A Girl for Andy Hardy.
I know that Thoroughbreds Don't Cry is an actual title of an actual film. That is real. The 2 Andy Hardy ones, those are lost leaders or something. Those are red herrings. Because I don't think there were any Andy Hardy films with those names. I think it was like Andy Hardy Finds Romance, Andy Hardy Gets Rich, Andy Hardy Goes to College, all that stuff.
Andy Hardy gets COVID. That's a much newer. Yeah.
Andy Hardy, pays a prostitute. I don't know.
Mickey and Judy meet
The show is
Frankenstein.
taking a very bad turn.
Andy Hardy has an occurrence at Owl Creek. So something in a teacup. What was that?
Well, I'm sorry. What was that? What?
Something in a teacup.
I'll read the questions. The part of the question one more time. Was it A, Storm in a Teacup? B, Thoroughbreds Don't Cry? C, A Song for Andy Hardy? Or D, A Girl for Andy Hardy?
I'm going to say Babes in Armenia. No, which is actually, that was a joke on the Carol Burnett show. I'm going to go with Thoroughbreds Don't Cry.
But is that your final answer?
Yes, yes.
Well, this would be the cure for Boys Don't Cry. It was well done. Thoroughbreds Don't Cry was an actual film featuring both Mickey and Judy. It was actually their first film in 1937.
Really?
And you were right about Storm in a Teacup. That was a 1937 movie with a young Rex Harrison.
Oh.
So there you go. And other real film titles were, you were kind of guessing on these, Love Finds Andy Hardy, and this is actually real, Andy Hardy Meets Debutante.
Yeah.
That's the actual name of a film.
Is this when writers had no creativity?
Oh, well, now on Turner Classic Movies, they're showing these things called Mexican Spitfire Has a Baby.
Oh, man.
Another one starring Bela Lugosi, Mexican Spitfire Meets Ghost.
Wow. Did you watch it? Is it really?
No, I'm not. I would not stoop that low. But
Oh, I would. I would stoop even
I
lower.
think there was this actress named Lupe Velez.
Yeah.
She did these films called Mexican Spitfire, whatever. And they would like put them in the bottom half of the bill. And I think it was the bottom half of The Magnificent Ambersons, which explains a lot in film history.
But they had to cut like an hour out of Magnificent Ambersons so people had time to watch Mexican Spitfire Meets Ghost. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, well, Dave, I don't want to say you're running away with the game, but it's
I'm getting crushed.
Yeah,
But
because
I'm coming back.
7-2.
Okay.
Once we get into the post World War II era, I'm cleaning
Okay.
up.
All right.
It'll take a while, because
Ready.
the next question is in 1933.
Oh, we're getting
Ah,
close.
jeez.
We're into the Depression now.
Here we go. This question is for you, Sean Altman.
Okay.
1933 is the year. Edwin Howard Armstrong
Oh, Jesus.
is
Ed-
granting a patent today that, will change the nature of broadcasting wideband FM radio.
Wow.
Alas, he would spend much of his later life in legal battles with his former bosses at this company over its use. Name that company. I'll read the question one more time. The year was 1933. Edwin Howard Armstrong is granted a patent today that will change the nature of broadcasting wideband FM radio. Alas, he would spend much of his later life in legal battles with his former bosses at this company over its use. Name that company.
All right. I'm going to say Westinghouse.
Ooh,
Good guess.
is that your final answer?
Yeah, because I was going to, okay. I was going to, you think that maybe it would be one of the, like CBS or something like that, but I think it's Westinghouse.
Well, I'm afraid there's no West for the weary, ladies and gentlemen. That is not the correct answer.
Okay.
So, David Sheward, you get to try and steal this question.
B'nai B'rith.
Can you come to the rescue? And as I'll read it one more time. 1933, the patent today was granted to Edwin Howard Armstrong for wideband FM radio. But he would spend much of his later life in legal battles with his former bosses at this company over its use. Name that company.
I think it's RCA. I think it's RCA, or it may not quite be the thing with television that was also the basis of a Broadway play called The Farnsworth Invention, which was about TV, and it was about Sarnoff, who was the head of NBC. But I think it's RCA. I'm going to say RCA.
WOW. Wow, you got RCA. That is the correct answer. David Sheward. Oh my goodness.
Well, I think what else can it be? The Radio
Yeah.
Corporation of America.
The legal, and what happened to this poor guy, Edwin Howard Armstrong, was the legal costs. RCA figured out eventually how to do its own radio patents. It broke his spirit, and he jumped out of a window in 1950.
Oh, ugh.
Yeah.
How awful.
So, SPLA.
What I said before about not wanting to have questions about the Talmud, I think I would do better with questions on the Talmud.
These are,
I would be terrible on that.
But tell Sean that most guests get 0.
Yeah, and as I've been saying, that Sean, don't feel bad, because we've had guests on here playing it today, yesterday. They get nothing. They get goose egged, and you've already got 2 points. You may get more. So that could happen too. As we get to our,
I got 2 points for a lucky guess. Okay.
Actually asked for extra points throughout the year.
yeah, some guests beg for points.
Oh, and we call that a Dr. Sue.
Yeah.
She will go down in infamy.
Anywho, David, yeah, you get to add to your total, which is currently 9 points. You can add 2 more.
All right.
This question, we move all the way, oh boy, all the way up to 1940.
Not quite after World War II, but okay.
Oh, you're gonna get this.
All right, go ahead.
So this is why I let people roll the die, because we don't know whose question will go to whom, because all the questions are in order. But David,
Yeah, go ahead.
based on short stories by Ruth McKenney that were published in the New Yorker,
Yeah.
this Broadway comedy opened at the Biltmore Theater tonight. In 1953, the same material would become a Broadway musical. For 1 point, name the play. For the second, name the musical.
Oh, the play and then the musical. Okay.
Yeah. So, I'll read it
the
again. It was
play.
1940, based on the short stories by Ruth McKenney, published in the New Yorker. This Broadway comedy opened tonight at the Biltmore Theater. In 1953, the same material would become a Broadway musical. For 1 point, name the play. For the second, name the musical.
The play was My Sister Eileen,
Whoa.
and the musical was called Wonderful Town.
Is that your final?
Yeah, that's my
final
final.
You are quite a wonderful contestant, David Sheward. Yes, that is the correct answer. 11 points for David. A little bit of extra trivia. I'll bet, David, you know this too. So I'll throw this out to you for no points, just for funsies.
Go ahead.
There was a 1960 TV series called My Sister Eileen, which starred Jack Weston, Shirley Bond as Eileen, and Who as Ruth Sherwood.
Oh, I know that.
Go ahead. There's no points, just for fun.
Elaine Stritch.
Yes, it was Elaine Stritch on My Sister Eileen, the TV show. Yep.
I just want to say that unless every remaining question is about the Beatles, I give up.
There was also
I don't know if you can catch up.
A movie musical about My Sister Eileen before, I think it was separate from the Broadway musical.
Was it?
With Betty Garrett and Janet Leigh.
And what was it also called, or what was it called? Or
it was called My Sister Eileen.
But it had music, songs.
It had songs that were different than the songs in Wonderful Town.
Oh, wow.
I forget whether it was before or after. And they had to do that. And it was interesting because Rosalind Russell, who played the lead in the musical, couldn't sing for shit. So they had to really, write things down so that, the notes and everything. But the musical, it was really interesting. The movie musical had Betty Garrett, who was a very good musical performer.
Yeah.
And it also featured a very young Bob Fosse.
Oh my. Oh wow. Okay, that's cool. Cool.
And Jack Lemmon.
The man with all the answers, ladies and gentlemen, David Sheward. My goodness. By the way, how do you know? How do you retain? It's not to come across these things, but to retain the information. How do you do it?
Well, it's just I worked for many years at Backstage, and I had to know all this stuff. I was going to interview people and write reviews, and it just stuck in there for a while. It'll go
like Wiki and Google. So it kind of, if you had read it, you had to kind of know it and write it and memorize it. So yeah.
Well, there are people like Mary Lou Henner who remembers how many times she brushed her teeth in 7 years ago. There are certain people who have. And Mary Lou Henner is one of them. But
the thing is, I know her dental hygiene, and she brushes once a year. So it's pretty simple. She just counts it. It's really quick. You don't want to be near her when she's talking to you because brushes once a year. But okay, I'll stop that.
Hey, David, were you working at Backstage in 1989, 90?
Yes, I was.
Because my former vocal group Rockapella, that was one of those years we won a Backstage award.
Oh, okay.
And we performed at the awards. Yeah,
it was
pardon me?
The Bistro Awards.
Yeah. I guess that's what it was, right? We won.
Okay,
we won a best vocal group Bistro award. We performed at the. Oh. I think it was at Symphony Space or something. I don't know. It was somewhere nice.
Oh yeah, we did. They had them in all sorts of different places, like 88s and where else?
Yeah.
But I do remember. I think I remember the group winning, and I'm trying to remember the performance. But
I think we probably sang "Zombie Jamboree."
Oh.
that was our signature song back then.
But I do remember the Bistro, the Bistro Awards, and oh, that's great. The small world, isn't it?
Yeah.
Small world is so. Wait, what did they do in Gypsy when the Gypsy movie? When wasn't Rosalind Russell in that?
Yes.
She had to do Roses. Did she do it?
No, it was Lisa Kirk.
Oh, they dubbed her. They dubbed
her voice. Yeah.
I bring this up only because this is something you have to see if you haven't already. It's an Ethel Merman thing that somebody put on Facebook. Now Ethel Merman was on Sesame Street. And she did a guest thing on Sesame Street. It's not a joke. This is absolutely real. She comes up and everybody, she's there for Christmas. It's a Christmas episode of Sesame Street, but for some reason everybody's really glum and down. Maybe they're all suffering from COVID back in 1970 something.
Okay.
And Merman's on there, and Imogen Coca was there too. And you got to see this clip. I'm sure you can find it on YouTube. And Merman's, she sees a couple passing by, saying, "Merry Christmas!" And they're like, "Arr." And she sees Elmo and Cookie. Well, I don't think Elmo was there at this point, but and she's like, everybody's so down, and she sees Imogen Coca there, and she's all glum and depressed, and Ethel says, "This is fantastic." She's like, "Imogen, you look like an idiot." It's hysterical, and it's so politically incorrect now because you could say someone is slow is an idiot. You couldn't do that now. But her timing, her delivery, Imogen, you look like an idiot. You have to see it. It's fantastic.
That makes me think of a friend of mine, David Kaufman, wrote a biography of Mary Martin, and he told about that she and Ethel Merman did this benefit concert. One night only, benefit for the Actors Fund in the late 70s, and they were in a taxi cab going towards the benefit, going through the theater district, and Mary Martin was saying, isn't it awful, Ethel, how everything's so run down, and it's not like when we were around, when we were in our youth and everything was so wonderful. And Ethel says, "Yeah, they fucked up Times Square."
It's so magnificently Ethel. Oh my God.
She needed to censor her.
The only hit that comes out of a Helen Lawson show is Helen Lawson, and that's me, baby.
Wow. Wow. We're doing our Today, Yesterday trivia quiz here on Dave's Gone By. Have a couple more questions. It's kind of not a close game at the moment, but we're pursuing.
Is it mathematically possible for me to catch up?
6. No,
it's not, is it? It's
Well,
not.
maybe if the ballots come in after midnight in Georgia.
That's right. I'm detecting some fraud. But
I think there should be. I think these later questions should be worth more to give me.
Oh yeah, they should.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Or they're not. Or I could say no, they're not valid. Because they're late. They're after a certain hour. I mailed them in. They're not valid.
I think the questions are dead.
She thinks the questions are dead. No, they're fine. No, there's no hanging chads on them. Here we go. We have another question. Question number 8, which means 2, 3, 4. See, so this goes to Sean. Sean, this question does go to you. So you can.
Oh right. The last question was Wonderful Town. Okay.
1944 was the year, Sean. At the Civic Theater in Chicago, The Glass Menagerie opens its pre-Broadway tryout to good reviews but weak sales. What?
It's random. The luck of the draw.
Okay, you have me pitted against a theater professional aficionado, and you're asking me like
also
my expertise is like in pop music from the 70s.
Yeah.
It may be about
but keep going. Keep going.
It may be about what material the theater seats were made out of.
Yeah, it could be completely randomish like that. And also, you have to understand that we're supposed to have 3 contestants instead of 2. Leslie Hoban Blake normally joins us. She's also a theater critic, so we try to make sure like 2 or 3 questions are theater related each week. Okay. But 1944 was the year. Glass Menagerie opens in Chicago to good reviews but weak sales. However, years later, just since 1994, the play has had 4 Broadway revivals. In them, which actress did not play Laura Wingfield? Okay, so which of these actresses did not play Laura Wingfield on Broadway over the past 25 years? Was it A, Callista Flockhart, B, Jessie Mueller, C, Madison Ferris, or D, Celia Keenan Bolger?
Let's see. I'm my crib sheet here. I've never seen The Glass Menagerie.
Oh, really?
I have a vague image of Callista Flockhart as being some wispy blonde.
That's accurate. That's accurate.
Yeah, she weighs 40 pounds. If a wind blows, you'll find
her state. I'm just so as not to embarrass myself. All right, but actually, I can guess and possibly get it. Okay,
I'll read the names again.
You got a
yes, ABC.
I'm going to go with the only name I know. Callista Flockhart did not play that role. No way. There's no way that my Callista would play that role.
All right, and that's your final answer?
Yes. She played the role, didn't she?
I'm
Not only that, she was the best. She's Callista Flockhart is the definitive performer in this show.
I'm going to read the question carefully again because I think one thing that tripped you up, that is not the correct answer, Sean. One thing that tripped you up is you're thinking maybe of a different character. So I'll read the question again. 1944 was the year. This goes to David.
So you don't understand. I don't know who any of the other actors is, so it's not going to help me.
Well, this one's for David Sheward. Glass Menagerie opened back on today in 1944. Yeah. Since 1994, the play has had 4 Broadway revivals. Right. Which of these actresses did not play Laura Wingfield in one of those revivals? Was it Callista Flockhart, Jessie Mueller, Madison Ferris, Celia Keenan-Bolger?
Well, Callista Flockhart did play it opposite Julie Harris.
Wow.
Celia Keenan-Bolger played it opposite Cherry Jones and Zachary Quinto. The other 2, I think Madison Ferris was the girl with the debilitating disease, who actually was, Laura's supposed to have a limp, and this girl was like literally in a wheelchair. I think that's who that was. And Jessie Mueller, I don't think played, I'm trying to think, 4 times was, what was the 4th time? Julie Harris, Cherry Jones, Sally Field were the, what was the 4th one? What was the 4th one? Oh, well, Judith Ivey did it, but that was off Broadway. And was Jessie Mueller in that one? But that was off Broadway. So it's either Jessie Mueller or Madison Ferris. And I think Madison Ferris was the girl in the wheelchair. Literally, really in a wheelchair. Opposite Sally Field. So I think it's, and did Jessie Mueller do it? And who was what's the 4th production? What was the 4th production? Now, that's going to drive me crazy trying to figure out the 4th production. Jessie Mueller.
Oh, your answer, is that your final answer? That Jessie Mueller did not play Laura Wingfield on Broadway. Yeah. Well, David Sheward, you're piling on the points. That is the correct answer. Jessie Mueller was not in the Glass Menagerie, even though she'd be a good, I think, Laura Wingfield. Unfortunately, I didn't write down who the Amanda. See, that's the thing. You were thinking of Amanda. So Amanda is the boisterous mom. So that's why you were thinking Callista Flockhart was wrong. Flockhart was the daughter. She's the wispy.
She is the wispy.
The crippled daughter, yeah. But the one thing, that the other person who did play Laura over the past 4 productions was Sarah Paulson. So do you remember who played?
Oh, Jessica Lange.
Jessica Lange and Sarah Paulson were the mother and daughter in the other one. So
Dallas Roberts was Tom, but he got fired because he didn't get along with Jessica Lange.
Oh my God.
And it was some guy. Oh, and he got arrested because the guy that took over for Dallas Roberts got arrested because he was accused of sexually harassing someone in a bodega or something.
Wow! Wow! Good Lord! Well done, David Sheward. Yes, yes. How many points did David Sheward has 37 points at this point? No. You've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 points so far for David Sheward. The next question, the next question goes to, I believe, you, David Sheward.
Keep going.
The year is 1951.
Finally, after World War II. Okay.
Here we go. Novelist C.S. Forster is back in the news this year because his book, The Good Shepherd, was adapted into the Tom Hanks film Greyhound. But it was another Forster novel that reached the screen on December 26th, 1951. The finale features the sinking of the Cunnigan Louise. Name the film.
Wait a minute. C.S. Lewis had a novel that was made into a Tom Hanks film?
I will read the question again. Novelist C.S. Forster.
Oh, Forster. Okay.
Is back in the news this year because his book.
Oh, this year, 2020.
Yeah. I'll read it again. Novelist C.S. Forster is back in the news this year, 2020, because his book, The Good Shepherd, was adapted into the Tom Hanks film Greyhound. But it was another Forster novel.
Greyhound?
Now,
Go ahead.
That reached the screen on December 26th in 1951.
Okay.
The finale features the sinking of the Carrion Louise? Name that film.
A movie about a boat sinking. I'm not really familiar with C.S. Lewis. When you first said that, I thought it was E.M. Forster, but then who's the guy who did The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe? Whatever that guy was.
I can't. I'm not helping. I can't.
Or the guy who was the philosophical guy who wrote Out of This. I'm thinking of somebody else. Oh, wait a minute. Who was the guy that was in that movie, that was in Shadowlands, the fictional version? And Nigel and he was all philosophical. And he wrote philosophical novels. Okay, so this ends with a boat going down. Okay, a boat sinking. 1951. Oh, I don't know. I don't know this one.
What?
51. A Night to Remember.
A Night to Remember. Is that going to be your...
Yeah, I know it's wrong, but go ahead.
A Night to Remember is the Titanic, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why I said I couldn't think of anything else.
It's a really good guess. However, I get that sinking feeling that you are incorrect,
Okay.
David Sheward. So Sean Altman, you get 2 points if you get the answer right. So we're C.S. Forrester's back in the news this year because The Good Shepherd was adapted into the new Tom Hanks film Greyhound. But it was another Forrester novel that reached the screen on December 26, 1951. The finale features the sinking of the Carrion Louise. Name that film.
If I were to get this right, I would start for the first time to believe in Almighty God, Hashem. And as that is not going to happen, I have absolutely no idea. I could string together some gibberish, and that would be the most likely scenario. I have no idea.
Oh, so you're not going to take a stab? Hamilton? Anything? No?
I got nothing.
Maybe in Armenia.
You are going to kick yourselves. What if I said that the film, and I have no points for this, but what if I said, and feel free to chime in first, that the movie was directed by John Huston?
Moby Dick?
No.
The African Queen?
Yes! The African Queen.
Oh!
That's right. Humphrey Bogart and Katharine Hepburn, the whole thing is that they figure out a way to make a torpedo and they sink the boat.
Oh, the German ship that's the name of the German ship.
The Carrion Louise, yeah.
Oh.
The end of the film, the end of the book, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I should have thought of that. Very tricky.
Well, like anything else I gave away about it. If I said Katharine Hepburn, if I said Humphrey Bogart, then it'd be too easy. So
Yeah, you're right. That was very tricky.
yay me. All right. We now have, this will be a free-for-all because the 10th question is basically whoever gets it, whoever wants it, we can hold up a thing, or I can just go 3, 2, 1, and you can shout out the answer if you know it. All right. Last question. It's not really a tiebreaker, but we'll call it that. 1973 was the year. Released today by Warner Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
The blockbuster film adaptation of The Exorcist with a screenplay by its novelist, William Peter Blatty. Which of these is not another novel by William Peter Blatty?
Oh, Jesus.
This is a multiple choice.
It's not. Okay.
Which of these? 3 of these are fake. I'm sorry, 3 of these are correct, are real. 1 of these is fake, is not a novel by William Peter Blatty. Okay. A, Which Way to Mecca, Jack? B, John Goldfarb, Please Come Home. C, I, Billy Shakespeare. D, Another Man Named Larry. So don't call out any answers. I'll give it 3, 2, 1, and I'll read the question again.
It's not a William Peter Blatty novel?
Which of these is not
Okay.
the title of a William Peter Blatty novel? The guy who wrote The Exorcist.
Okay.
The movie came out today in 1973.
All
Which
right.
of these is not by him? Is it A, Which Way to Mecca, Jack? B, John Goldfarb, Please Come Home. C, I, Billy Shakespeare. D, Another Man Named Larry. So think about it, and I will give like a 3, 2, 1, and you can call out either the answer or the letter.
Okay.
Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Let's hear it.
B.
D.
I heard B from Sean, and I heard, what did I hear from you? From
D is in David.
B is David. David Sheward, I don't think you've ever had this many points in one
Yes.
game. Oh my
Nope.
God,
Yeah.
you're right. The last one, Another Man Named Larry, is just a title I made up. But all those, including I Believe Shakespeare, it's like a short satirical novel that William Peter Blatty wrote. And the other two were early books in his career, Which Way to Make It Back and John Goldfarb, Please Come Home. Those were actually actual real. And so, David, do you want to tally? I'll do it. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 15. 15 points
Yay.
for David Sheward. And Sean, you get to take our home prize, which is our gratitude, our thanks for being such a wonderful guest, for being so fun.
I feel like I should have, you know, if I would have been a better guest if I had had more of a working knowledge of film and theater.
Of life, essentially. I mean, no, but you're great fun to play, and we do. I invite you to come back and play the game again. I don't know if you ever want to go near it again, but you were terrific, and it was terrific to have you. I want to remind folks, first of all, that you can read David Sheward's writing at thedaviddesk.com. David, the double D in there, thedaviddesk.com, as well as theaterlife.com and culturalweekly.com. All those places for different kinds of writing. Some of it theater related. David's desk is more, as you said, some of the more random offhand fun stuff that you want to write about, including that opera, She in Florida, was it?
Yes, She in Florida.
She in Florida, which you can find by going to the David Desk.
I also have a long-running political satire called McTrump.
What are you going to do in a month?
He's not going anywhere.
He'll probably get a show on Newsmax, you know.
Not going anywhere.
True. Hey, he may end up being president when the votes are counted. Anywho,
I don't think so.
But
he may be president again in 2020. It could happen.
That could actually happen. You know.
I don't want it to, but it could happen. It's not impossible.
It's legally.
Legally, and there are enough morons who would vote for him.
Well, you know what? Hopefully Biden will be amazing and wonderful. If
I hope
not,
so.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? But my vote would go to Sean Altman for being delightful and entertaining. Remember that you can find him on Facebook in 2 places, Sean Altman, the Facebook page, as well as Jewmongus, the Facebook page, JEWMONGOUS. Remember, you can get a Seanogram where he'll sing a song as a gift and dedicate it to someone. You can also hire the Everly Set to do virtual concerts as well as when they start doing real concerts in 2021-22.
Wow.
Tribute to the Everly Brothers. And most importantly, and probably the most delightful for someone like me, is the It's Too Late for Hanukkah show. Is that did I muff the name of it again?
It's Hanukkah, Damn Just Missed It.
It's Hanukkah, Damn Just Missed It, which you can get, again, by going to the Jewmongus Facebook page. It's a couple of bucks. You throw a couple of bucks to this man because he deserves it, and that show is going to be hysterical.
Sounds
and
great.
Great fun. With special guests. Who are some of the other? You mentioned David Yazbek is on there. Who else?
Let's see. People your audience might know: Tammy Faye Starlight, Cynthia Kaplan.
Sounds Jewish.
Mostly musicians. Danny Bonet, the violinist. John Spurney, Julian Maley.
Wow. So a lot of guests in the Hanukkah special that Sean Altman is doing. It remains for me to just wish you both continued good health, a most very happy and healthy New Year, God willing, please. David, I think I'm going to see you on our New Year's show, right?
It'll be New Year's Day. That's right.
Yeah, New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve.
No, wait. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Remind me, though.
I'm going to remind everybody. Sean, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'd like to invite you to spend like a couple of minutes with us on New Year's Eve. I'm sure you're busy.
What time are we
You're
supposed to be?
canoodling with your opera singer, but if you're not,
It's gonna be
New Year's Eve is tricky because I actually, yes, I'm organizing an event for my school-age daughter's pod. We're having like a social. We're having I'm part of a pod,
A pot.
and
Oh,
we're going to be yeah.
Is it a potluck?
But thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
About that.
When
Well,
am I supposed to be on? What's my time on Thursday?
I don't have it in front. I'll contact
Just
you.
remind me.
I'll let everybody know.
11:57.
The show is going from 10 o'clock at night until 12:30 in the morning, from New Year's Eve into New Year's Day. We'll be right on this Facebook page. So, David, we have a set time for you. I'm inviting you, Sean. I know you won't be able to make, but if you can, it's only like 3 to 5 minutes of your time just to say hi, wish everybody happy. You could,
Sure.
We'd love for you to come and sing a song or tell some anecdote about 2020. I'll email you the info if you want to be on. If you can
Thank
take
you.
some minutes
Thanks a
out.
lot.
All right, thank
Okay, good.
no reindeer on elf action.
No, and please keep the reindeer and the elves separate for that particular show.
No.
None of that
Great to
happens.
see you, Dave.
Thank
Nice
you
to
so
meet you,
much,
David.
both of you.
Not,
Have
thank
a
you
great
so much.
week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Happy New Year.
Happy
Thank
New
you.
Year.
You too.
Happy New Year.
New Year.
Bye-bye, Sean.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Right. All right, there we go.
Well, you're watching the Dave's Gone By Facebookio Podcastio Programmio of the Stream with me, Dave Lefkowitz, and having so much fun with wonderful guests like David Sheward and Sean Altman here.
How do you get so knowledgeable? That freaks me out.
David Sheward is
I
like,
don't know
oh
how he
my
remembers all that. Like, I
God.
have to do this. I would not remember like that.
I think in the years before Google, I would have been like that. I would have been like, keep it in
You
here.
know that about plays and theater and stuff.
I used to, but
Yeah.
it just goes out of the head, but not with him.
Maybe one day you should be the contestant.
Okay, if you'll write the questions, if you want to take some
I
time,
can't do it.
Oh,
I can't write smart questions.
but no, I would put myself on the line. It's only fair. You know, I'd probably get like 4
Maybe on
points.
April Fool's Day, you should do it.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
That would be fun. It is almost midnight. God, it's almost noon here, Eastern time. Here in the Daverhood, you're watching Dave's Gone By with me, Dave Lefkowitz, my wonderful and adorable wife, Joyce, and so much still to do on this 778th episode of the Dave's Gone By Facebookio Podcastio Programmio of the Stream. We have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned, and we're also going to go inside Broadway for some sad Broadway news where we say farewell to a friend of the Daverhood. Very sad about that. But before then, we have something even almost sadder, I would say, something quite tragic. It's the Wretched Pun of Destiny. This is where I tell a very, very short story that is capped by an absolutely terrible play on words. I beg your indulgence. I realize this is going to ruin your weekend, but can't help myself. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a Wretched Pun of Destiny about terror in Disneyland. Ooh, spooky, spooky. Wait, no, hold on. Wrong thing. Sorry. There we go. The Dave's gone by. Wretched Pun of Destiny. A few months after Disneyland first opened, the whole enterprise was put in jeopardy when reports surfaced of a crazy man running loose in the park, jabbing women in the neck with a hat pin. Park security tried to catch the guy in the act, but each time they heard a woman shriek, all they saw were families, employees, and Walt Disney himself strolling around the grounds. Finally, one morning, a brand new security guard heard the scream, turned his head, and couldn't believe what he saw. A woman holding her neck while Walt Disney sped away, tossing a hat pin into the bushes. Fascinated and fixed to the spot, the young guard stayed a long time before reporting the incident at the end of the day. "Where's your badge?" asked his superior officer. "I just started," the boy explained. "They haven't given me one yet." "So," grumbled the old guard, "you have no identification, You lingered at the crime scene instead of reporting it immediately, and you expect me to believe Walt Disney is the culprit? I know it sounds suspicious, says the boy. I read all the previous reports, but I stayed because I had no ID Walt had pinned necks. We here at Dave's Gone By apologize for bringing you the Wretched Pun of Destiny. I had no idea Walt had pins necks. Yeah. That was our Wretched Pun of Destiny. Please send your comments and complaints to davesgoneby@aol.com. That is our address, davesgoneby@aol.com. I will try and read every email that I get. Plus, you're welcome always to post messages publicly right here on the Facebook page, or if you are on the friends list, you can certainly message me privately. Either way, I'd love to read your comments or suggestions. davesgoneby@aol.com, or of course our Facebook page, which you're watching now, Dave's Gone By. I want to remind you, I also have a Twitter feed, Radio Dave 2, Radio Dave, the number 2. And let's see, what else? Oh, and if you go to davelefkowitz.org, davelefkowitz.org, that's a whole separate page just for my writings. So if you want to read some of the plays that I've written, a bunch of theater reviews from my career, if you, reviews I've written of other people's shows, if you want to read all the song lyrics that I've written, check it out, davelefkowitz.org. Would love to have you check that out. Well, as I said, we still have more to do on this 778th episode of the program. For example, our friends of the Daverhood and our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. I want to give a shout out, thank you, to my wife has been taking all these notes on people who've been tuning in, which include Gregory, Will, Reggie, Ed, David J, Vicky, of course, Vicky, who will join us briefly on our New Year's Eve show, Peter, Allen, Roy, Bobby, Rick, Jeff, Ken, Artie, Scott, Melissa, Rosanna, Abby, Chris, Peter S, Bruce, and another Peter, Peter N, Chris T, Warhol, Jeff, Dr. David is a funny.
That's what Dr. Sue wrote.
Sue, so Dr. Sue, of course.
She wrote that to you.
Yay, thank you so much. Marshall and Stephen and Jamie and Michael Zachary, Cam, I believe that is, Ms. F, James F, I'm sorry, Linda, Artie, Tim, David, Lisa, Ken, another Roy, Annie, Mark Z, Gregory, Rick. The list goes on. All these people have tuned in over the past 3 hours or so of the show. Angela, Lisa R, Luann, David N, Trevor and Shelley and Joel and Jared and Janet, Tim, Ethan, Patrick, Michelle, Jeff, James, Carlos, Jason, Ray, Jeff, Sasha, Shelley, John, Cindy, Wendy, Gina, Paul, Joseph, David F, Donna F, Will, Per, and Bob. Wow, so great. And if I didn't get your name, please don't feel bad. We don't get everybody. Facebook scrolls sometimes too fast for us to see, but we appreciate every single person who tunes in to watch this program, Dave's Gone By, every Saturday morning from 9 until noon or thereabouts. Well, it's time to do a little bit of cultural stuff, which we do every week because, as I mentioned, I'm a playwright, theater critic, theater journalist, actor sometimes. So I love the theater, and I love sharing theater news with you. It's a segment that we call Inside Broadway. Inside Broadway, a look at theater on and off Broadway and beyond. Brought to you by Total Theater and Performing Arts Insider. Curtain going up. Yes, curtain going up on Inside Broadway, live on this Saturday, December 26, 2017, with me, Dave Lefkowitz, telling you about what's happening in theater news. Well, of course, there isn't that much going on because, of course, Broadway has been quiet since March and will stay quiet until at least the end of May. Speaking of Corona-ish news, Congress did pass momentarily a $900 billion stimulus package that includes $15 billion in grants to a plan called Save Our Stages, where money will go to theaters and producers and promoters and talent bookers. So that was really an amazing cooperation, I guess, between the Democrats and Republicans on this, until, of course, the president said a $600 check to Americans is just not enough. He's right. But it throws a wrench into days and days of punishing negotiations. So who knows what's going to happen to this bill? He's threatened to veto it, saying it has too much pork and money going to foreign countries, etc. And the hilarious thing is, now that he's not a threat, Pelosi and Schumer agree with him. And they say there should be bigger checks going to people. Anyway, the important part for Broadway is that New York Senator Chuck Schumer says the Save Our Stages Act is there to protect independent music venues, Broadway theaters, comedy clubs, and particularly smaller independent kinds of venues. So here's hoping our government gets its act together and gets some money to the people and the stages that need it. And by the way, if you care about the theater, if you care about the stages of New York and America, you're going to want to get yourself a copy of or a subscription to Performing Arts Insider, the Bible of Broadway since 1944. This is the guide that people in the theater and entertainment industry use to know what is happening on, off, and off Broadway. As you can see from the cover, not a lot at the moment, but plans are afoot for late 2021, certainly into 2022. So if you want to know what shows we're playing and should be playing again when things start up, if you're curious about shows that were on the runway, about to open in March and never got the chance, but are still going to try to 18 months later, or if you're curious about shows that are planned for next year, the year after, and the year after that, you want Performing Arts Insider Theater Journal. There's a guide to the theater district. There's all the shows that we're playing or set to play on Broadway, a list of all the Broadway theaters and their availabilities and how many seats they have and who owns them. There's a list of the press agents, the folks who handle all these shows. So if you have a question for a designer or a writer or an actor on Broadway, these are the people to go to directly. You have a day-by-day calendar listing of shows when they're off hiatus and come back, both on Broadway, off and off Broadway, plus, very cool, in each issue you get a comprehensive guide to every single production that will be on, off, or off Broadway, as well as, for times like these, a lengthy section guide to virtual theater. So these are shows where if you have YouTube or Vimeo and you're looking for a show to watch, these are plays and musicals that are there. They were recorded maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago, or they're virtual theater productions that you can watch on your computer. So if you're sitting around, I miss theater, there's nothing to go to, we have a list of shows that you can just go right on your computer and watch in our virtual theater guide. That's why even during a pandemic, Performing Arts Insider is there doing the job. For more information about it, go to performingartsinsider.com, performingartsinsider.com. It's the Bible of Broadway. Who said what?
Sean's replying to all the Twilight stuff. He says, next time I look forward to competing in sports trivia with Mark Albert or physics trivia with Stephen Hawking.
I know. Again, I apologize. Remember that Leslie Hoban Blake was supposed to be a contestant also, and she's a theater expert, so. But thanks Sean Altman for being such a wonderful guest. So yes, the sad news, the tragic news, and not unexpected news that happened on Broadway this week. We have to bid farewell to a friend of the Daverhood, Rebecca Luker. Rebecca Luker, a lovely actress and singer. She died at the age of 59 this past Wednesday, the 23rd. She had and it was quick. It was quick what happened to her. She had Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS. Born in Birmingham, Alabama, she's kind of like Kristen Chenoweth in a way, because she started in beauty pageants. And she didn't place first, but she did well enough in one pageant that she got a scholarship to a local university down south. She debuted as a Christine Da in Phantom of the Opera. Then she was in The Secret Garden. She had 3 Tony nominations in her career, including playing Magnolia in the 1994 Showboat. She played Marion in the 2000 The Music Man. She also played the mom, the grown-up, in Mary Poppins in 2006 on Broadway. She was also a cast replacement in Broadway productions of Nine and in Fun Home. Just a lovely person. She was married for a couple of years to Greg Jabara, an actor. You might know him from Blue Bloods. But then she essentially found the love of her life in Danny Burston, another friend of the Daverhood, another actor who was on our Tony show. And we were speaking of Fiddler on the Roof before. I think he was the most recent Broadway fiddler. Really nice guy. They were together. I think they found that great connection. So we had, as I said, Rebecca Luker on our Tony show back in 2007. We're going to try and play a clip of that for you, and then play a bit of Rebecca Luker singing as well. Let's see if this will play correctly.
I ask how you feel Broadway has changed in, say, the 16, 17 years since you started doing it here?
Oh, my goodness. That's a question.
I know.
That'll take more than 10 minutes. How it changed. In a way, I think it's improved.
Oh, okay.
I think there are more people coming to see Broadway musicals. I mean, against all odds, I think that has really happened. I mean, I was here, I started in Phantom in 1988 when there was really sort of a pall over Broadway, especially like maybe the couple of years preceding that. And everyone was worried about it, and
right.
Nothing was happening but the big British, mega hits and things. And I think since then, Broadway has changed. There's more openness to new, different types of musicals. A la Spring Awakening and Grey Gardens and things that are sort of on the cusp of the mainstream hits, and people are responding to those. And I think there are more people coming to Broadway musicals from around the country, I think, than ever, and that is amazing to me. Because of videos and movies,
right?
Computer, everything, you can see everything on a computer. You don't really have to leave your house, and yet people do, and I'm very heartened by that. Really, the younger generation, I think, is we're beginning a new generation of theater lovers.
God willing.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
I think that will continue. My stepsons are 2 of them. They really love Broadway musicals. They love it all. They love, rock music, and they have a, healthy appreciation for a wide variety of music and theater. And I think they're not, they're a little bit rare in that way, but there is a generation of young people who are like them.
Great. We have just one or
Rebecca Luker, dead at the age of 59. That's Inside Broadway. Let's move on to to other friends of the neighborhood who are, thank God, alive and well and still with us and still doing other things. This is a segment we do every week because we consider the folks who have been on this program friends and family, and we keep tabs on them. So we're kind of stalkerish in that way. These are the friends of the neighborhood. So yeah, some friend action on this Saturday, December 26, 2020. Want to let you know that speaking of writers, John Ruane, who was a guest a couple of years ago on the program, you can read a lot of his writing. He's writing heroic tales. He's writing true stories of heroic kinds of people, firefighters, policemen, just ordinary day-to-day heroes. And you can read those in johnruane.substack.com. John, R-U-A-N-E, johnruane.substack.com. Check him out. Also want to let you know that our friend from last week, the wonderful Karen Ziemba, now is the time that you can watch her appearing in a reading of the musical 2 by 2 for the Actors Fund. So Karen Ziemba in 2 by 2, that's like old Danny Kaye musical. They're reviving it in a reading for a couple of days that you can watch, and please donate to the Actors Fund now through the 28th of December. I want to let you know, let's see, what is today? Today is the, no, that's old. On the 29th, Christine Lavin and Don White are giving a free concert featuring our other friend, Daniel Kanger. You can find this at Christine Lavin's YouTube page, Labin, the wonderful Christine Lavin. Want to let you know that on New Year's, the York Theater is going to run or rerun the video of its holiday gala with all these friends of the neighborhood: Karen Mason, Leroy Reams, Ben Barine, and Donna McKechnie. Is all going to be there. Again, they want you to donate, of course, to the York Theater, yorktheater.org, and that's theater with an R-E, yorktheater.org, and that is happening New Year's Eve. Also, on New Year's Day, January 1st, 2021, on Ian Finkel's Facebook page, his family and friends are doing a celebration of his life. He passed a couple of weeks ago. Ian Finkel, the xylophonist, the son of our other late friend of the neighborhood, Fivish Finkel. So they're going to be posting things and showing video and putting together a tribute to the late Ian Finkel. And that is happening on New Year's Day. The day after New Year's Day, Jewish Life TV Network will debut its videocast of A Stoop on Orchard Street. Now, this was off Broadway, my gosh, like 15, 20 years ago. Jay Kolos, our friend of the neighborhood, wrote it, created this musical, and they filmed it. They taped it a while back. And now you're going to be able to watch it if you watch the Jewish Life TV network. It debuts on January 2nd. Want to remind you that Barbara Fasano and Eric Comstock, they're doing duets. They were going to be back performing at Birdland, but then, all the restaurants closed, everything closed. So can't see them there, but you can see their duets on their YouTube page, Barbara Fasano and Eric Comstock. Want to remind you to keep checking StageBuddy.com for articles about life in New York during the pandemic. Evan Seplow is the founder and creator of that. Dr. Demento is still doing brand new Dr. Demento shows at drdemento.com. Soundsofbroadway.com is a website 24/7 of musical theater. And in fact, today, and I think they're rerunning this, the guy who founded that website, Stuart Brown, is doing a 90-minute tribute to Rebecca Luker's music. So you're going to check that out, soundsofbroadway.com. And finally, Bob Cudmore doing podcasts of upstate New York history at bobcudmore.com. Those are the friends of the neighborhood. And I should mention that if you want to talk about friends of the neighborhood, people who've been on the show and are making a return appearance, we have a bunch of them scheduled for our next episode of Dave's Gone By. And that will not be happening next Saturday. Next Saturday, I'm taking the day off because I'm going to be a very, very busy little boy Thursday night, New Year's Eve. As I was mentioning to Sean and David Sheward, we're doing our annual New Year's special in the Daverhood. Go figure. And we're doing it distanced, but we're having a whole bunch of guests zooming in, including our Chicago friends Mary Sheng Barnage and Vicky Quaddy, some of my writer friends back from Colorado like Lisa Arata and Don Pearl will join us. Our friend, and friendy, of course, Fred Cleaver and Wendy Hybe. My old friend from elementary school, Ozer Teitelbaum, should be with us. Just, you know, people spending maybe 3 or 5 minutes, maybe 10 if we group them together, just to say hi, just to tell an anecdote about 2020, or to entertain us or be entertaining. Dr. Sue is going to be part of the fun as well, some of my relatives. It's just going to be a fun mishmash and way to get out of this year and ease into the next one. And we're trying to think of something special to do at 11:59 p.m. on Thursday night, involving, oh, I don't know, last year we did the dropping of the potato. We want to match that. Oh, something just dropped. It might possibly involve this. Just might. What can we do with an enormous bottle of Heinz tomato ketchup? The mind boggles. Oh, yes, it does. Oh, yes. Oh, look, Potato's making his first appearance of the day. Hello, Potato. Are you excited about New Year's Eve? Oh, God, what a year. There was tomato shortages. So sad. Oh, and there was curdling butter. Oh, the Blight. You even had that singer from Black 47. Oh, so weepy sad. I know, Potato, but maybe 2021 will be a better year. You'll have even more ketchup to eat, more butter to roll around in, you know, and salty times as well. But are you going to be with us on New Year's Eve for our New Year's show from 10 Eastern Time until 12:30 in the morning on January 1st? You can hang with us, Potato? Well, I've got some narcolepsy issues, but I'm going to... Or he'll try. Potato will try to join us. I hope you will all be with us on this coming Thursday night, December 31st, for our annual New Year's special. Should really be a blast. Should be a lot of fun. Well, it's been a blast doing Dave's Gone By with you all this fine Saturday. I do want to remind you a couple of quick things. First of all, and I didn't get to say this, our friends, the sponsors at Hewlett Minuteman Press, who have been with this program since our very first one. Well, we can't leave them out. We've got to mention that you should approach them and go to them with all your copying and printing needs and any needs that you might have for your business. So let's see, our guest in the neighborhood was Sean Altman today. Under just the letter A, this is what Hewlett Minuteman Press can do for you. They do ad specialties, so they can help you with your advertising, anniversary seals. No, they have things where you can press on and do things for anniversaries, announcements, and artwork graphics, and that's just the letter A. This is the entire, not even the entire list of everything they do. This is what they could squeeze onto a page. And then they're also known for full service shipping of UPS, as well as, need to box stuff up and mail it, they'll help you with that. They do digital copying, including stapling and binding and double-sided 3-hole punching, enlargements, transparencies. Hewlett Minuteman Press can help you with bindery. They also do gifts like helping with wedding parties and wedding favors and bar and bat mitzvahs and sweet 16s, and of course, quinceañeras. They also have up-to-the-minute elegant stationery, and if you need business cards, if you need to get your logo onto some kind of clothing item or sporting good or toy, Hewlett Minuteman Press can help you. And if you tell them Dave sent you, you get 10% off any job, big or small. Give them a call, 516-569-5577, area code 516-569-5577. You can also go to hewlettminuteman.com Minuteman.com and check out their website. The Toran family has owned and operated this franchise of Minutemen since the mid-1970s, so they know what they're doing, and they're pretty terrific people. Minuteman.com, they are the copy kings. Well, just crown me lucky for being able to do this show every Saturday from 9 until noon, or we're in the thereabouts portion of Dave's Gone By. It's been so great having you all tuning in, having my wife help, having such wonderful guests. And is it time to go?
Yes.
Oh, Joyce is saying yes. Almost. Joyce is trying to spare you. She is trying to keep you from enduring our next short segment, which is our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. This is where every week I do a short poem about a place in Colorado, because when we were living there, I just started writing these, and now I've got close to 150 of them. Today, we're going to Thatcher, Colorado. Thatcher, Colorado, for our Limerick of the Damned.
A limerick is a comic verse of 5 lines, in which lines 1, 2, and 5 will end with words that rhyme. And likewise, verses 3 and 4 also end with words that rhyme. So this is a limerick.
Colorado indeed. Thatcher, Colorado, which I'm sure you haven't heard of. I hadn't either. It is an unincorporated community in south central Colorado. It's basically just down Highway 350. The community was named after M.D. Thatcher, a local cattleman, but that was not the original name. It was originally called Hole in the Rock. Boy, wouldn't you want to live in a hole in the rock? And actually, it's kind of a nice thing because it referred to a natural spring that was in the area. So, however, it's not much going on there now. It's basically a ghost town in Las Animas County. So hopefully this won't offend anybody. Actually, this is, it's sad and sick, this particular limerick, but it's G-rated. That's kind of rare. So keep the kids in the room and warp their minds this way with our Colorado Limerick of the Damned for Thatcher, Colorado. A limber young lady from Thatcher moved so fast that no man could catch her. But one day she fell down a 30-foot well, and doctors could not reattach her. Yeah, send your comments. Don't even complain about that. That one was kind of cute. Dave's Gone By at AOL.com, Dave's Gone By at AOL.com, or post right here on this Facebook page. Just a reminder that, again, we keep all our archives at davesgoneby.com for free. We also keep our archives at archive.org, and we have archives audio only at castbox.fm. Plus, we post all our stuff on YouTube, except some of the older stuff on YouTube is problematic because they mute things because of rights issues. But it's all, just start Googling and going to our website, davesgoneby.com. You will find treasure troves of hours, literally at this point, thousands of hours of Dave's Gone By. So if we're stuck indoors for another 12 months, you got something to listen to all day long, 24/7 of Dave's Gone By. Gotta do some big thank yous. Gotta thank so much to, first of all, my darling, wonderful, and adorable wife, Joyce, for being with us for the whole show and helping out on the show.
Oh my God,
What?
Stan!
Who?
Remember
Stan! Stan's watching. Oh, do I need to do shout outs for more people before we go? Because I think you added a few more people to the list, which is way cool. My big thank you to my wonderful wife, to Potato, for briefly joining. Sorry.
I can't trace it anymore.
We'll do a few more names on the list. Let's see. So there was Wendy and Gina, and Paul, Joseph A, David F, Donna F, Will Per, Bob, Pete, and Stan. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Big thank you to David Sheward. Every week he comes on and impresses us more and more with his trivia knowledge, and he's a wonderful guy.
I don't know how he knows all that. That's like
He says,
Stan says he loves you guys.
well, thank you, Stan. Love you back. Love you back. David Sheward, read him. TheDavidDesk.com.
But no, that's not. It says that's not the website. It's a blog.
Oh,
It doesn't go to there.
Oh, how do you get to it, though? It's the David Desk.
The David Desk. I don't get it.
Oh, geez. Well, there's culturalweekly.com.
When you do the daviddesk.com, it does the David Desk blogspot, David Desk 2 blogspot.
Oh boy.
So you can type it in, it'll bring
Google
you something.
Google the David Desk. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Google the David Desk or Theater
You can
Life.
also get a David Desk at Eldorado Furniture.
Don't get a David Desk. I should get a David Desk at Eldorado Furniture, but not tonight. Here we go. Thank you also so much to our guest in the Daverhood, Sean Altman.
Awesome.
Humongous, he is treemungus, ladies and gentlemen. Sean Altman, so much, even in the middle of a pandemic, he's figured out ways to keep doing what he does, putting out CDs, which you can get at his Facebook sites, Sean Altman, S-E-A-N, Sean Altman, or Humongous, both of them on Facebook.
What beautiful. What great to have live music. It's so nice to have live music.
And musicians have the setup, so they got a good mic.
I
And
didn't like that Elf on Reindeer act. That was disturbing.
Elf on Reindeer didn't.
I'll have night terrors about that one.
See, the Elf on Reindeer action turned me on. I'm glad I have a desk here, or that the computer's up this high, or else you would have seen more of old Dave than you want to. But please, 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 if you go to these Facebook pages for Sean Altman, either hire him to sing a song for a friend with a Seanogram.
He does individual and group like videograms.
That's it, Seanograms, videograms, right. He also is part of the Everly set. So
I think he's available for like he's Moyle.
Is he a Moyle? But he does the teeth thing.
Oh,
that's we don't want him to be hired for that. But if you are planning a bris and you want the Everly brothers to play for the bris, even virtually, contact Sean Altman. If you just want to tell him how great he is, contact Sean Altman on Facebook. And of course, if you want...
Do not ask him about Norma.
No, don't mention Bellini. Anything but Bellini. And watch his guaranteed to be absolutely hilarious and wonderful post-Hanukkah special. It's all there, Facebook for Sean Altman. Thanks so much for being in the Daverhood. What a dude. What a dude. Very happy and proud to have people like that every week. Guests on Dave's Gone By. Well, speaking of guests, as I said before, I will remind you, we're going to have about 12 to 15 different guests zooming in over 2.5 hours of our Dave's Gone By New Year's Eve special. So you want to watch Ryan Seacrest, you're really going to watch a virtual ball. There won't be a million people standing in Times Square, right? There'll just be like cops standing in Times Square to keep a million people from showing up, right? It'll just be, so why are you going to watch that? You're going to watch Twilight Zone, fine. You're going to watch Honeymooners, fine. You're going to watch whatever else. No. Or Teen Titans Go marathon on Cartoon. Yeah, from 10 until 12:30, 10 p.m. at night until 12:30 in the morning. Keep it right here on this Facebook page for the Dave's Gone By annual New Year's Eve special. I'll be here. My wife will be here. Joyce will be here. Potatoes will be here. And all those get friends, relatives, performers. It's just going to be casual, light, crazy fun, just like we try and make every episode of Dave's Gone By. Well, just remains for me once more to thank you all for watching, to wish you a most happy, usually we say happy and healthy, this time it should be healthy and happy New Year, and a good 2021 ahead. Let's go out with something that never did quite get answered. I am guessing either maybe Detroit or I think,
what?
You know where it would make sense?
What?
Newark, New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
A processing center is where Carmen Sandiego actually is.
I believe that's where she is.
That's why they can't find her. That's where Carmen Sandiego is. I will bet you dollars to donuts. That is where you will find Carmen Sandiego and Gone By.
the world, from Kiev to Carolina. A sticky-fingered filcher from Berlin down to Belize. She'll take you for a ride on a slow boat to China. Tell me where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Their soul in South Korea, make and daughter go for uncle. From the Red Sea to Greenland, they'll be singing the blues. They never saw her steal the bean from the jungle. Tell me where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? She go from Nashville to Norway, Valir to Zimbabwe, Chicago to Czechoslovakia, and back. Well, she'll ransack Pakistan, run a scam in Scandinavia. She'll stick 'em up down the nerve and go pickpocket her. She was a missing misdemeanor when she stole the beans from Nima. Tell me where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Oh, Botswana to Thailand, Milan, Amsterdam, Bali to Bali, Ohio. Oh, wahoo! Hey! Well, she glides around the globe and she'll flip them every nation. She's a double-dealing diva with a taste for knavery. Her itinerary's loaded with moving violations. Tell me where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Oh, tell me where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Tell me where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Watch your back.
Happy New Year, everybody, almost, and gone by.